Koi versus DarkZero. They both work purple, but who works it better and who is winning today? I'm Jackie Jing, and I am with Jesse and Jacob, who are not wearing purple. What?
Apologies.
Blue?
I mean, to be fair, we didn't know we were going to have an all-purple game until a couple of hours ago, so I didn't prep for it.
Okay, fine. So you weren't anticipating this?
No.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Nope, I was not.
Real talk. But both of you were closely watching the Sonics game versus DarkZero, and whew, Jesse, that was a fun one to watch.
Oh yeah, DarkZero coming off of a very close, insanely close match against the Sonics just a couple of hours ago. Koi themselves, it's their first game today, right? They come off of 6-map win streak through the group stage, so they haven't really played as much as DarkZero have. We've played many, many rounds so far this tournament, but I'm sure both will be coming into this this final game with their all.
Yeah, how are they going to line up against Koi? That is the big question, right? And Jacob, multiple analysts have been telling me that Koi, even though they're doing quite well, are not playing up to their potential. Do you agree with that or no?
I mean, I think a lot of people never expected first place in their group. I think that was the big thing that caught everyone by surprise. But the fact that they're here definitely isn't nearly as much of a mistake as people think, because they are a team that can play reactive to basically any situation. They're super fluid. We've heard the comms videos that Leon keeps putting on YouTube. The way that this team communicates is flawless when it works, but when it starts to fall apart, when they're not all on the same page, suddenly you start to see the cracks develop. And even without needing to hear their comms, you can see moments where they aren't nearly as coordinated. So I think that's probably what a lot of people are referring to when they wonder, is Koi getting first place in their group something that's actually deserved, or is it kind of a one-off thing? They're here to prove that that first place finish was not a fluke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can argue that they had a great group stage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have been fantastic so far throughout the groups. They, of course, were that #1 seed, as you mentioned. Yeah, I think their attacks have been creative. They've been interesting. They haven't always worked out, but I think on general, like, their defense has been really, really good throughout this tournament. They have been on top of their game. So I'm not too worried for Koi. I think that this will be a tough game for them, and there's certainly some things about DarkZero you've got to be really ready for when you go up against a team like DZ. But Koi, you know, they're major champions in the past, right? And they've dealt with adversity, and I think they're going to do okay here in these playoffs.
I mean, technically, they're both major champions.
True.
So, did you not think about that?
Okay, Jacob, flexing a little bit here. You know, Koi is certainly a lethal team, but I've been wanting to say this to you. They're like a wolf pack, and they go hunting as a pack. I've been wanting to say that to Jesse, but particularly when it comes to defense, right?
Absolutely, Jackie, and we've got some stats for that as well. Of course, Koi, a 70% defensive win rate. Now, that's through the group stage, the #2 defensive team through the entirety of groups, just behind M&M. Now, they're hoping to fare a little bit better than M&M have. Their entry win rate is actually below 50%, but that conversion, 84%. If they get the opening pick when they're on defense, they are almost certainly going to lock that round down. KPR of 0.69, survival rating of 29. That's an average of the 5 players on D. Very, very impressive stats to be putting up here on the defensive half. And again, I think everybody really does their part. You know, Spoit is kind of insane, roaming off multi-kill after multi-kill after multi-kill. Cryan and DPEC kind of clean things up late, right? DPEC in particular, the plant denial, really, really good. Kanto, I think, has also been really good throughout the late rounds. So yeah, I'm excited for this Koi team. I think their defenses are always going to be one that you have to watch out for, and it'll be a big challenge for DarkZero to try to take that on.
Well, talking about Koi, we chatted with them about their SI hopes and dreams, so take a listen to this interview.
So the way I would recap group stages was just, you know, we got in there. I wasn't personally feeling too confident. I mean, first SI, but then again, bad first game. We were very distinct in the way we play. Attacks were very poor. As throughout the group stage, we improved, and you know, against W7 we smacked them. There's a lot of teams that I would like to play, but I don't have any team in particular to play in the playoffs. Just, you know, a good team, show that we are capable of winning this tournament. To improve on in playoffs, I would definitely say our attacks were a bit poor. They bounced back on the W7 game, and you know, we're slowly getting there, but so far defense has been really good as well, so we just gotta keep up, be confident, and just go in. I don't think there's a biggest threat in this playoff. To be honest, any team in the way Siege works right now, any team can take it home. Just the team that's in the best form and shoots the best in the day is the team that's gonna take it home. So, preparing for the playoffs, I would say we're just going to keep doing the same thing, just be confident. Siege is all about adaptations and stuff, and that's what we're really good at. Throw the strat pick out the window, it doesn't matter. Just, shoot heads and do it together, and coordinate everything, and that's how you win. You guys better watch out for us in the playoffs. we are a force, and we showed it at Berlin. We're going to show it here at Six Invitational as well.
Ooh, we are a force. Fighting words there for sure. But all right, we got to get to DarkZero. A lot to talk about there. Jesse, this lineup though, I mean, we got Gav the rookie who has been playing quite well. And then we got the veterans, we got Skies, we got Canadian. I don't know where to start. This is a really strong team.
Oh, they absolutely are. And we saw everybody pitching in their last game earlier today up against the Sonics when they had to take that win down. I think NJR has undoubtedly been the star of this team throughout the group stage and as well for the game that they played earlier today. He had a great performance, 128 kills coming into the day. He's, of course, upped that even farther since their game earlier today. I think Skies as well is a player that does need to be highlighted because I feel like he's always in that perfect position on defense. Even if it doesn't show up in the stats, right? Even if it doesn't seem like he's always the one who's putting up the numbers, he has been definitely helping out on the support role and has the most plants of any player coming into today with 17, again, before their match against the Sonics today.
Not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
For an old man.
Oh, don't throw that in there, Jacob. Anyway, Jacob, real talk though. Do you think playing 2 games in one day actually benefits them?
So far, that has been exactly the case because both of the #1 seeded teams that played earlier today have lost to teams that already played a best of 3 prior. So if you're looking for a reason to be more excited about the prospect of DarkZero actually beating Koi, then look no further than their win earlier against the Sonics. Even if it took a lot longer, even if they didn't have a whole bunch of time themselves to prep for this exact matchup, you have to think that the coaching staff, you have to think Mint was thinking that this was going to be the result in the back of his head, beginning to like structure out what would happen if we win our first game, then moving immediately into our second. And I do think that this is also territory that guys on DZ, especially Canadian and Skies, they're not strangers to having to play a whole bunch of games without too much time in between to actually worry about prepping them. And I think that they're going to have a lot to talk about from that Sonics matchup, not just because there were things they were doing fantastically in that game that they want to continue, but I also think the speed of their attacks against Koi's defense is going to be a real problem they have to decipher.
Okay, our map bans are in. We are getting that information up on the screen right now. Jesse, talk to me. What do you think?
Okay, Koi are gonna let Theme Park go on through. This is a map that DarkZero have a 5-game win streak on. 3 of those wins coming here at the 6 Invitational over Heroic, Secret, and M&M. They've not lost Theme Park since the spring of 2022. And for Koi's side of things, they have never won Theme Park ever. They played it only 2 times. The first was a loss to M80 at the Berlin Major, then a loss to G2 in the group stage of the 6 Invitational. But still, this is gonna be a map that DarkZero can have a lot of fun on.
It's crazy. We're seeing Theme Park leak through. We're seeing Sky leak through on the opposite side because this has been DarkZero's permaban for ages. They've played it only twice over the past year. They beat Team Secret on it in overtime just a couple of days ago in that barn burner 3 mapper they had. But we're seeing it again in spite of it being such a low preference map as far as Koi is concerned. This is one that they do not have a problem playing over and over again. Last time they played it, they beat W7M. They lost to FaZe Clan in the grand final of the Berlin Major just before then, which means they don't have a lot of play time on this map.
Yeah, we're going to end up on Bank. That's Koi's most played map of the year, including 2 plays, both wins throughout the 6 Invitational, beating Elevate 8-7 and then SSG in a much more dominant 7-2 game. So we'll see from Koi. That's going to be one that they're very, very comfortable on, but again, lots of footage for DarkZero.
Well, which purple team will come out victorious? Koi versus DarkZero? We shall see. Penguin and Taro, take it away.
Thank you so much, Jackie, and thank you so much, The Desk. I wore purple in anticipation of this matchup, despite it being a very different color. It's a bit more pinkish, a little bit more reddish.
Yeah. It still looks good on you.
Also got pink and blue, and when you combine pink and blue together, what happens?
You get purple?
I'm pretty sure it's purple.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I'm no colorologist. I don't know my colors.
Pretty sure it's purple as well.
I know you look at purple all the time. He's paid by DZ.
Don't bring that up. Like, we're about to cast him, Parker.
Isn't it always funny?
Non-biased cast, by the way.
It's funny that he always casts DZ. It really makes you wonder.
It's almost like I worked in AL for a full year, where they happen to be playing.
Really makes you wonder.
Sure. Wonder about what, huh? Well, that's the question, isn't it?
This is a tale of 2 teams. You know why?
Because there are 2 teams playing?
You're a real piece of work, yeah.
Oh, wait, tell me why.
Koi have played the 2nd fewest maps of any team at the event. The lowest amount of maps that have been played so far is 8. You cannot play any less than that because in the group stages, even if you lose 0-2, 0-2, 0-2, 0-2, you go out with those 8 maps. Koi either winning 2-0 or losing 2-0 in all but a single series. And they await DarkZero. Koi, 9 maps played. DZ have played a third of that today. They played 3 maps earlier today against the Sonics. DZ have played the second most maps. The only team in the entire tournament that has played more maps than DarkZero is BDS, who themselves just played earlier. They played 3 maps. They're at 15. And because of this, it skews the stats a little bit. But coming into this matchup, Shaiko is the all-time kill leader at this 6 Invitational with 186 kills. Newers is second with 175, but he has a game on both Shaiko and NJR. NJR is third with 158. So he is only 28 kills away from leapfrogging over top of Shaiko to be the all-time kill leader at this SI. And Pambazoo, he's in 5th place with 142. Because they've only played 9 maps. The top fragger on, and I put that in quotation marks because it's not a lot of fragging. It's Spoit with 93 kills way down the list, and the rest of the team is like 60 and 70 kills.
I mean, it has been a slow start for Koi during groups, and a lot of teams, a lot of talent being Koi aren't showing up. Are they just not gonna make it? Are they gonna go out of groups or something like that? Well, no. They ramped up towards the last 2 days of groups in particular, finding good results for themselves, and of course, landing themselves in the arms of DarkZero in this matchup. It's going to be Theme Park, one of DarkZero's their most played map at this event over the last course of...
Tied with Bank.
So, okay, tied
which
with
is
Bank.
the third
pair
that we will go to.
So a lot of experience here from DarkZero. They will feel quite comfortable in Theme Park. Also talk to the nature of how these 2 teams play. DarkZero, a very structured team, leading the chart on plans and playing the objective throughout all of groups. Whereas Koi, we know them as more of a reactive, aggressive team, playing off information, and it's why we see time and time again, Deepak on the Yokai, on the Echo.
Hold on.
Let him cook.
Hold up. Let him cook. Cryan's not going to see anything.
He's not cooking anything. Information though. The Valkyrie and the Echo from Koi answered by the roam clear capabilities of the Monty.
Peeking towards bumper cars, but not seeing anything at all. The Monty is coming out in the hands of Skies. He also holds on to that diffuser, and we talk about a tale of 2 teams. That doesn't just count for kills. That also extends to objective play. Skies tied for 2nd place with the most diffusers planted through this entire event. He's at 18. The only person who's ahead of him is Dream, and guess what? Dream is on that same OXG squad that's played an extra game. So in that sense, I know they haven't played the same amount of maps. In fact, both teams have actually played the same amount of maps, but he's a game ahead of them.
Yeah.
At this point, OXG's just been more efficient or worse at their matches earlier, because sometimes it's not about efficiency. SSG's also, what? I think they're at 9 maps as well, and well, they've lost a lot of them, so...
Yeah.
That said, let's get this first round underway. Koi will be on defense. I like the Monty here.
Love the IQ. Canadian normally finding himself in the jackal of these aggressive kind of roam clear operators, but they're paying respect towards the information gathering of Koi. Canadian so far outside the building, just spotting all the yokai, all the cameras. You see it right here. NGR tapping away, denying information the moment DC enters the building. That's the first way to counter Koi's lineup.
Hunt him down as Canadian sees the Oryx of Spoit, and the top kill getter on Koi is no more. Gavin removed from action to follow next. Kanto Richetti. Do we see an early appearance from Mr. Lanto Richetti?
I was gonna say, Kenzo also had a rough year across the board statistically, but showing up in these kinds of games when it matters the most. Him finding 2 kills is gonna do good for his mental, but he only has a sliver of HP, and as I say that, NGR, it is a headshot, but a single shot in his toes would have done the same job, to be honest with you. With 45 seconds left, the Monty's still alive, got that secondary heart breach in hand. The difficulty now is the time. 35 seconds, and Grunt is still fighting upstairs.
Oh, he's been on the roam, and he's going to get hunted down by the Monte, now breathing down his neck. Canadian a pinch. He's old as blank. He doesn't have the worst gun in the game, actually. That Commando really does do some serious damage. Deepak reunited with the Supernova. That means that it's 2 shotguns to control these last 2 players from Koi. The problem for DZ is that Skies is on Monty, so Canadian will need to be the one to fully cover in this plant. And he doesn't seem to be that near. Is there a Yokai drone still up? Canadian will drop. They're both by split. Skies walking in. Leon Gids reads into it correctly. And he finishes what he started, taking matters into his own hands. And both the final kills go in his favor.
Let me get up on him. Let's just hide, hold an angle.
54, by the way. That's how much damage the Commando does per bullet. With the extended barrel, which I didn't see if Canadian had, but my point is, he does have it. Does a ton of damage with these changes to the extended barrel itself, and it has such a small recoil that, or low recoil, that you can apply that piece of muscle attachment. That slight recoil increase won't make a big difference on that particular weapon. On some, however, it definitely will. You heard from DarkZero, on their voice comes from Skies. Why don't we just hide and let that guy do his thing upstairs? Well, they were wanting to fight it out. Got punished for it. The 1-for-1 trade goes in favor of defenders because 2 versus 2 with 20 seconds left. Well, that's where defenders, they thrive. Even if the attackers have the diffuser in hand, getting to the bomb site and planting and having to cover is just too tall of an order. We saw Leon get shot down the entry point from Canadian, and it's Monty in 1v2, and that is just not gonna cut it. Without more space and more time to work with.
Well, it's funny here. Theme Park and Skyscraper are 2 of the least played maps in this event. When you look at Theme Park, it usually has the distinction of the most defender-sided of all of the bomb sites, which is that Armory Throne site down below. But it's not. Actually, all of Theme Park's bomb sites are relatively even at the current moment. Armory Throne is at 56% favoring the defense, 56% of those rounds going to the defense. Bunk Daycare is at 58% of rounds going to the defense. Lab Storage is 55% for the defense. And Initiation Room Office, which is the least played bomb site on this map, is at 64%. Skies jumps in, gets a kill on the Leon Gids, and then gets right out of there. Excellent stuff from DarkZero to get that opening pick yet again.
Yep, it's all about the conversion, right? If you get this kind of opening pick for DarkZero, there's no reason to stick around. Skies recognizing that, just getting out of there, not throwing back what they just gained. It's about holding on to what you can get here. Pambasu now on IQ duty, looking for these pieces of info. Cameras, no yokai this time. The thing is, Kento Gady on the Solus will kind of counter-combat this information, figuring out what exactly is going to be happening. The Terror drone's coming out, doesn't actually get it, so the shield gets taken down. That's going to weaken Kento's position.
They'll be able to draw him out pretty quickly as he finds his way into a tricky spot inside a cafe. Frostmats scouted out as well. Gavin, the newest player from DarkZero. His stats, I don't think, have been where DZ probably wants them to be, but it took a couple events for both NJR and Pambazoo to find the success they've been having recently. And these are the 2 top killers on this team. They're doing exceptionally well. It's plenty of time for Gavin to get up there, too. Not everybody has a start like Spoit did, for example, or like Bolo did, to begin their pro play career. Kanto Ricchetti, all the while that we said that he was in that tricky situation, yeah, he's actually made it out of there. Canadian finds both of the remaining 2 Frostmats, and Kanto, hell-bent on re-engaging, almost ending up into a fight that he wouldn't have been able to win as he just gadget out.
Yep. Kento actually sticking his ground, trying to fight it out, but well, DC, they're creeping on in. He doesn't know this. Gavin, if he has the right read, could get a free kill.
He doesn't have enough intel. Kanto, does he want to swing onto this? No, Gavin makes it work. Deepak taking some damage as well. Koi, not in the spot that they want to find themselves in with 30 seconds left.
Time, of course, favors the defenders in Pambasu. He thinks a flank is coming, but it isn't. All members of Koi need the bomb site. They were just waiting for the first movement from DC. Once that first gunfight breaks out, it's going to be hell afterwards.
And nobody is watching this bag bunk component at all. Gavin goes down to Spoit. All of a sudden, Koi kills everybody, leaving Pambazoo as the last player standing for DZ.
Party
and he
time.
gets them both, indeed. Get the confetti out. It's party time. Pamba charges in.
Wait, no, that is like use a dead body on my screen.
Not quite a dead body at all.
Nope.
Both rounds coming down to heroic efforts from a single player in the final seconds of the execute. Koi coming out in round number 1, DZ coming ahead in round number 2.
If you watched the Sonics DC game earlier, I won't spoil the exact result or anything, but in the very final round, it too was party time. Pambasu has been finding himself in the late stages of the rounds due to the nature of the operators that he's finding himself on. If Pambasu was on the entry duty of, let's say, Sky's Iana pick, Pambasu would be dead much earlier in the round, engaging in that opening fight that started at 5 versus 3 off. But Pamba is playing a much more flexible role for DarkZero these days. He's now playing operators like the IQ, where he's the backbone of the team. Even Canadian is miles ahead of him in the map. But Pamba, he's finding so much success in that last couple of seconds of a round, in the 1v1s, in the 2v1s, etc. And it's really helping DC make some hero plays in moments that we do not expect from them, given the nature of how they play. Very structured, methodical, slow team. That's typically how you go about describing DarkZero in the NAL, and typically on international ground too. That hasn't been the same story for them at the 6 Invitationals. Sure, they're still structured, they're still kind of slow, but they got that clutch factor now thanks to these young gunners of both Gav and Pamba, and let's not forget NGR. You said it, Parker. He's putting up numbers like the top gunners.
Oh my, Leon involved in the first altercation yet again. He takes out NJR, but Gavin punishes him for that. Either way, NJR, third highest amount of kills here at the 6 Invitational, came very close to breaking the record for most kills in a best of 3 just the other day. So having NJR sit on this bench for the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds, that's a great shout from Koi.
It is. I'm trying to think of the value here. Trading Flores for the Solus, or the other way around rather, I think it's pretty even. Solus has an active gadget where you gotta, enable it, see the cameras, etc. Flores, same story. Those with Terror drones, they will get no value now. But Koi, they're really good at the defensive side, so they can take these numbers advantage away from DarkZero and play out a 4-4. I think they're fine with that. It's just like a 5v5, but with less man cover to cover out the map itself. This bomb site is relatively small. I don't think them losing an early member is going to change much for them.
I mean, Flores is huge in the amount of value that was gained from those Rotero drones in just the previous round alone, especially to put pressure on Kanto Raketti in his position. Force him out of holding Cafe was enormous. But then again, the Solus is, of course, very pivotal. I will say, I don't think the Solus has been that much of a difference maker through these 2 rounds yet.
No.
Whereas I think the Flores as an operator alone absolutely has been.
I think you are correct. And speaking of, this is the time about Cafe. If there's a deployable shield put down, without the Flores, they actually have no soft destruction to clear out the deployable shield this time. So yeah, the floor is absolutely massive for this round. Will not be in play. DC about to find a different way around it.
What did I say? I told you so.
I did. You did tell me so. You're correct.
I told you so. Oh. That Spider-Man crawl in the window for Skies, losing him about a third of his HP. Gavin, that's kill number 2, but he's no more. Deepak lighting up DZ. Skies on this rappel, who'd taken damage earlier, will now need to swing on in, find the last 2 players from Koi. Good news for DZ. Skies holds on to the diffuser, but the moment that plant starts to go down, it's quiet enough that Koi's going to hear this. Skies has no intel, cannot go on drone, that'll make noise as well. They know he's nearby. A couple bullets go out, but he has no intel yet again. Trapped inside a bunk, there's the diffuser going down, and they're gonna try to bait him off it, but Skies is actually sticking. Nitro Cell blows open the wall, and Deepak with his 3rd kill of the round. A monstrous performance. Koi making that one look easy. They get out the broom and they sweep DarkZero away from the bomb site.
It was the fucking lucky round, the fucking clutch round, okay? I think we need to play more barbed wire.
More barbed wire. Get more barbed wire. You heard the man. The Frost Mat as well, just buying a second and a half. Canadian has to vault on in and shoot it first before fighting. Deepak means that Gav doesn't have a backup in that 1 versus 2, so effectively it's a 1 versus 1 for him 2 times, which is relatively easy, given the fact that Kenny was looking at the floor, not wanting to land into a POC mat, as we call them. POC mats, frost mats, bear traps.
I would like the record to show that I don't call them POG mats.
I live with a meme because it was my boy Ben from, Citizen.
I mean, we've had to teach you that feetsies is not the correct way to describe Jackal's gadget.
Just because something isn't correct doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Is POGMAT gonna work its way in as well now?
Honestly, with how exciting they can be, because they usually occur in the last couple of seconds in a round, it's very POG. That's the young gamer slang. POG, excitement. Let's say there was 5 seconds of that clock. Canadian jumps on in. It's an exciting... Okay, even the observer...
I agree with the observer saying that's horrible.
In my ear,
Thank you,
says
Medics.
that's horrible.
I do agree, that is horrible. The things that he's saying are horrible, right?
Okay, I will learn from this mistake of mine. I will hold myself to the best of my ability and no longer use that term.
Okay.
It will now be Pocky-Walkie mats instead.
No, it's...
Medics is like, good job, and then never mind.
Yeah. You got praise, and then it was taken away.
What can you do?
Damning with faint praise. Koi running an operator lineup that looks very similar. Why? It's another Armory defense.
Yup. It's that stable information game. Canadian recognizing that he wants to be on that entry, but also be freed up to have his gun out. So it is going to be Pambasu once again on the IQ duty doing what Canadian did before, on the roof, really mapping out where everything is and spotting them to see what operators are being played from the side of Koi. Canadian's going to be roaming on that first floor with the Jackal, who can scan for roamers and try and find a pick.
Last two alive for Koi on this bomb site before were the two anchors of Deepak and Leon Gids sitting very safely in the bomb site.
That's the backbone of Koi. Kanto, when Kanto lacks confidence, he finds himself being more of an anger player, but so far in these first 3 rounds, Kanto is just in the fray, looking for fights actively. He got 2 kills, but both of those in round number 1. And it's been quiet from him since. He's still looking for more, however. He's not giving up just yet.
The Yokai drone did some scouting over by Cafe Nick, and they got information as to some drones. I don't know if they were able to help them out or not. No Solus on the board, so all that drone work needs to be manual. I think they were pretty successful. DZ just down to 3 drones, that's it.
Oh boy.
That's not a lot to work with, as you still have over a minute to go.
Yeah, and you still have all these active roamers from Koi with Yokai drones scouting information. Pambasu, he can try and guess these locations, but Koi, they will know for sure where he's going to be. This is the IQ, he should know this.
And the IQ of Pambasu actually wins the engagement, but traded out by Kanto Ricchetti. Now they've got the ace of Gavin in that position. There's 1 kill apiece. Canadian with 1, Spoit the other. NJR gone, Kanto Ricchetti removed. NJR hasn't been having a very fun match whatsoever.
No, with 40 seconds left and a live roamer of Sports still. The bomb site under full control from Koi. DC, they are waiting, but these are very, very valuable seconds. They cannot afford to spend them not doing something proactively.
They know where the bomb site is. They know what needs to be done to get in. It's just finding where these last couple players are. That was where the difficulty was with DZ last time. The only question mark is Spoit. What can he accomplish? Looks like he's actually made it back to the bomb site. There's some fire going out. Deepak in the bomb site, taken down. Gavin will engage. It's him and Canadian versus Spoit. Diffuser needs to be planted, and Spoit's been pushed out of split. Gavin gets
the drop shot
with the sidearm. He loses it. Spoit gets them both.
Let's go! What are you doing? Let's go.
He stood up so fast, he lost his in-ears and his headset.
Oh no, he threw his in-ears out because he was hyped up and ready to go. Again, DZ struggles with this bomb site. Come down to the final moments, and Spoit actually pulls off a drop shot in 2023. The year of our Lord.
I mean, Spoit is coming basically straight out of ranked into the Berlin Major, then doesn't make any of the following majors, now here to play at the 6 Invitationals. If there's one man that can pull out the rank strat, it's gotta be someone like Spoit, someone like Gav, who are so recent additions to the professional scene of Rainbow Six Siege. When we saw Deepak running for his life in that 2 versus 2, he knew he had a Yokai left on the map, or at least he thought so. He was trying to play for time, but Spoit take the offensive while he falls back and plays passive, but shot in the back, he gets downed, leaving Spoit in that 1 versus 2, thinking they might not get in a position to put down that diffuser. But Canadian, with less than 1 second left, starts planting it down, forcing Spoit to seek the engagement against Gav into the 1v1. He does so successfully. Koi is stealing these rounds away from DarkZero, but again, time is the biggest issue. DarkZero hitting the bomb site with less than 20 seconds every single round, having to rely on rushing on through those motions with imperfect executes, and it's really damaging them in the late stage of these rounds. Speed is needed from DarkZero.
I'd like to remind everybody that this is DZ's map pick They are a perfect 3-0 on this map. Oh, they just surrendered another first pick, this time on the Skies, and add insult to injury, there goes the Candela as Away is celebrating the death of Skies. The bright spot for DZ in this first half is that Gavin has found his footing in this matchup. 6 kills. Pambazu's in. He's looking for 6 as well. He's got 5 to his name.
Flashbang with the Amuro hook. Just goes on in, gets a feed blown to Kenzo. Was stuck in that corner, couldn't find his way out. Sure, Ying is off the board. He gets 2 kills. Gav is injured though. Is that a Pog? Sorry, is that a Frost mat? No, it's not. He's crawling for his life.
That's a Pog mat.
Don't say it. I'm trying not to. He can get revived later on, but the cross here, being held from Jaeger if Leon gets from finds out of security, is going to make it more difficult.
Pambazu should get... Yep, there you go. Bring him back to life. Gavin, up on your feet, soldier.
This round ain't over. We got a minute and 30 seconds to go. We needed you. Needing you. Yeah.
You tried your best.
I messed it up.
You tried your best.
I messed it up.
Pambazu maybe with some caliber-based destruction there. Gavin, the only player left on this team other than Pambazu, who's positive. The rest of the team is currently underwater. Kills spread out quite evenly. I mean, it's basically the same with Koi. They've got Deepak and Spoit currently above 1.
DC has to break apart this wall. This layer right here. The map is divided in the center. Initial injury. Shut down.
Leon Gids a nice cheeky peek on the Pambazu. There was likely another kill there for him, but Leon retreats after taking quite a series of blows. NJR and Canadian pull off something real nice, and there's NJR's influence when he's still alive. Keep NJR on the battlefield, and good things for DZ will happen. 2 kills to close out the round. I am very curious as to what's going on in the W7M M80 game.
It's loud, that's for sure. Oh, that C4 clips the edge of
That's actually crazy that that killed him. It looked like it was a whole floor away.
That line, once DC, they can break past it. The bombs they get surrendered into their hands. No plan deny from Core. They gotta fight out with guns blazing, as always. Final round for the half. Now, Theme Park is defender-sided, and it's not just a statistical thing, it's a very large map. As we can tell, DarkZero is spending every second of most rounds going through it. This is a struggle that every single team they have. Unless you're going for a really fast style executor or a rush towards the bomb side, you naturally will need a lot more time to just find the roamers and take that map control than that of like Oregon, Clubhouse. Even Bank is arguably faster and easier to clear than that of Theme. You don't have all the windows and verticality the same way. And the map is a bunch of big rooms, so many spots you can hide in. It's not easy. So with Jackal, such a common ban and pick on this map. Same with Dokkaebi, it makes the roam job easier and faster. None of these 2 operators will be played in this final round, as Canadian finds himself on Thatcher instead. More execution for...
Old man, old up.
Old man, old up, yeah.
It's like I always say.
Canadians smile after the game against Sonics. It brought me life. He looked so happy after that matchup. And I think Troy made a tweet about it. He said that the game against Sonics was genuinely just like a really good game of Rainbow Six Siege. And Troy, he's a man who cares about competition. He wants a good game of Siege whenever he can. He's up for the challenge every single time. When he was interviewed about where he would rate that game against Sonics in terms of like stress level and whatnot, he said about middle of the pack. Well, to be fair for Troy, he's played in so many historical games throughout his career. He's got so much experience on his belt. Now leading 3 young gunners for maybe another attempt at an title.
Just as we saw in the 2 matches that came before this, Nick. This match, the winner goes on to play on the main stage on Friday. And even if they lose on Friday, we'll see them again on Saturday. So these teams are going to be given multiple opportunities to razzle and dazzle in front of an audience. Canadian knows something about that. He's played in front of a lot of audiences in his time, and so is Skies, who gets the very first pick, eliminating a very aggressive Leon Gids, who decides to peek Cash Door.
Liam been trying this so many rounds in a row, gets shut down again! Skies finds both members that are going too offensively for Koi. The 1v1's not going in their favor. That's a bad start for Koi.
Really unideal. Got a great close-range operator, though, in the hands of Cryan, who's put together 3 kills, but has been very quiet so far, just getting those mid-round, mid-execute kills, but making no serious impact beyond that. He's going to play on Ella. Ella, of course, an operator whose gun at close range absolutely shreds. But he was walking into a duel with Panbazoo, and there you go, he loses it out. Kanto Raketti, the very first kill for Koi, but it might be the only one in this entire round, unless he can take down Gavin, but he cannot. DZ recovers.
We just work it.
Claps from the team across the board.
We play our fucking setups.
Good half is called 3-3 for both of these teams. Now, Theme Park has 57% of the rounds played thus far being won by the defense versus 43. Typically, that means that you want to see the first team to defend end this first half up 4-2.
Yeah.
If that's your metric, Koi failed by that margin because it's the same essential scoreline as when we started. Instead of it being 0-0, it's just 3-3. But as we've said in previous games, the map is now going to tilt in DarkZero's favor. So the fact that they were able to hold Koi to just 3 rounds, that's great for DZ.
No surprise that we see thrown bomb site first from both teams as well. It is arguably the easiest bomb site to defend. It's in the center of the map. There's no easy ways in. It's all hard walls and a hatch. And you can impact trick all of those walls mentioned. You can roam up above. The big question that most teams have to answer for themselves is the hatch that leads to the bomb site. Do you keep it reinforced or do you keep it soft and open it up? DC, like most teams, will reinforce it. That means that the only way back to the bomb site for any of these roamers is going to be the same way for attackers to enter. It's 2 doorways, one on Split, one on Dragon. So if Koi can capture the roamers or cut off the way back to the bomb site, then you can isolate essentially the active part of DarkZero, the roam, and the more static one, the bomb site members. Now, just like Koi, you're gonna extend out play aggress, or sorry, roam to waste time, shoot drones, etc. And then, ideally as a defender, your goal is to get back to the bomb site with about 1 minute and 20 seconds left or less, and you're just laughing because it's so time-consuming to clear out the map. That 1 minute 20 seconds is all you need left in the clock to have a great shot at a round.
All right, first half was 2 bomb sites. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was 2 defenses.
There was an office.
Ah, there was an office, yes.
Yep.
You are correct.
It's a single round.
There was a single round. I knew it. That was the only one I didn't turn in front of me.
It's okay.
It happens. Oh,
Site
hold on a
rush.
second. What is this?
Because they're all roaming.
A site rush.
Wait, oh my god, I got it backwards.
That's them getting back into their bomb. It's late. It's late. You have to forgive him and his eyesight. You know, there's only 1 minute and 20 seconds left. By the way, Canadian, the first to die in this round. That's the smoke off the board. That is terrible. A thrown defense with no smoke to be able to blanket an entry point. That means that there very much could be a site rush from Koi.
They were stacked up going in a line. I was thinking they're ready for it. I mean, they were. It's the damn defenders. They should be. Drop down. They didn't expect it. Panbazoo's there with the aggression. He goes forward. He wants more.
If there's anybody who can pull this off, it's definitely Panbazoo.
Oh.
Safe enough from Spoit. Spoit that impressive clutch in previous rounds, and now Cryan takes damage. And I love Cryan's expressions. Every time he gets engaged with, it's as if he's never seen an enemy before in his life. Speaking of not seeing an enemy, Panbazoo missing on the recoil. That's an ugly, ugly bit of action. Kanto Raketti and Spoit both could have been tasty morsels for Panbazoo, but either end up being successful.
But again, the hatch reinforced Kite Claw, the only injury point are going to be the 2 doorways and the yellow breach, which is a vault in for Koi. It's not ideal. When Cryan and Kanto both low on HP, battling it out is not the ideal scenario either. Now no Toxic Babe, so it's going to be all guns blazing.
Nades ready to take down the shield. There's Deepak. The numbers for Koi get even better. Nitro Cell goes out, limply thrown. NJR will need to clutch, and Spoit does not allow it. Great first round for Koi. Again, if we go off of what we see from Theme Park historically, you need to win 2 rounds on attack. Koi's already halfway there.
Panda could have saved the round. He gets the Fuser, takes down the Ace, and in this position, almost killed one member, almost killed two members of Core. Then he could have run away, so wasted more time. He opted for the SMG-11 instead of the P90, and unironically, he ran out of bullets on the pre-fire spray. And then the P90 came out, and then an impact grenade came out. NGR really having an unfortunate time on Theme Park so far. On the attack, always suffering, being the trading blow. Now on defense on round number 8, suffers an impact grenade from himself, in all fairness. He's gonna have to play out this round with less than half HP. Not the end of the world, but less than ideal. Those Capcom traps, of course, will live on, even if he falls early on. They can still do some damage, get a kill onto Koi if they're rushing too fast, not checking their doorways. And that's going to mean all 4 bomb sites played.
Downstairs to lab. Not drug lab.
Nope, just lab. The lab.
For legal purposes, that is cornstarch. Or sugar.
Yeah. Flour.
Or flour. Or white phosphorus. No, wait, it can't be that, can't be that. No.
Not that.
Cannot be white phosphorus. Hold on a second.
Oh. I saw the shotgun swap.
I know, I was like, are they just gonna blow the bathroom window and just hop in? But
that's what I thought. It's for the hatch later on. I got really excited.
Damn.
I was gonna take a, it's a default approach, not gonna get too crazy. It is just NGR on the bomb side with half HP, so honestly, it wouldn't be a bad rush, but of course, Koi don't know that. Solus can grant information from below to where the drones are going to be coming from. Now Troy should know where the execute, or where the initial roam play rather will begin. Could see if there's a Claymore go for a jump out. Kendo reads it, he's waiting for it.
Canadian, a great player to be on that Solus, by the way. Whether he's playing Valkyrie or Pulse or even Vigil, he loves those info operators because DZ and all of his teams tend to be at their best when Canadian's giving the calls, and Pambazoo runs right into a swinging Kanto Raketti. Down goes Spoit to Gavin. All these individual performances where we see a team succeed and thrive. But then the player who accomplishes it is one of the first to die in the next round. Just goes to show you how evenly matched these squads are and how every single player is capable of contributing. Kanto Raketti losing to Skies, but so does Cryan. It's a vault in, and Skies reads them both perfectly for the double kill.
Skies should never win that 1v2 with a DMR, but he does somehow anyway. Just 2 bullets needed for an injury or a kill, and now Koi, they gotta pick up the pieces and just go for broke. They can't play a structured round. You gotta just fish for kills. If Deepak can find one on the vertical, and Leon one from Arcade Stairs, I mean, then you're back to a 2v2. You have the info, and they gotta go for the gunfight.
Isolate 1 or 2 of these players. There was your first opportunity on the Skies. Skies and NJR are both low enough on HP that 2 stray bullets from these players on Koi can very quickly turn this into a 2v2. I think the greater issue for this Koi squad is the time, Nick. You cannot waste any of these 40 remaining seconds, period. If you do that, it will simply be too late. Even if you get those 2 picks, a 2v2 where you need to break into the bomb site with only 15-20 seconds left, just not going to be good enough.
Nope. I mean, Leon gets trying his best, open up the soft walls, but he finds one.
Oh, what a shot by Leon, but Canadian answers that one back. Deepak is outside of the building with 20 seconds left. Frostmats could be below, but Deepak knows it's already been cleared. So he heads towards lab, and it's NJR on the ground to tie it up yet again. DZ have yet to lead on their own map. It's been Koi in the lead or tied. Given the fact that Koi's only time playing this map here at the 6th Invitational was a 3-7 loss against G2, that bodes very well for Koi so far, win or lose.
Really nice job there by Leon. The soft breach actually distracting Skies, making him turn towards the wall rather than the door, and Leon finds the injury kill because of it. Only issue is, you're down 2 members, so that barely gets you back into even numbers. Pambazoo, he is sick of it, playing these SMG-11, scanning things at IQ's gadget. He will be promoted, as that meme one went, to the dock.
Promoted to dock.
Yeah. That means he's gonna get activated, absolute just swing everything, take every engagement imaginable, and if you take damage, good news, that stim, it got buffed about 6 months ago. It heals you to full, even from an injured state. That means that as long as Pamba stays alive or injured, he'll get right back on up. You get 3 of them. Incredible value to be had, assuming you just don't get headshot, because then you're dead regardless. Koi bringing out the Amaru, something that they do quite frequently on a variety of maps, especially something like Bank, to get inside a window, or a pinpoint to cut off a rotation. See what they opt for. Rotation happening right now, going from the cafe side to the cash side instead from Koi, maybe thinking, we don't really want to approach that cafe area anyway, but they're running backwards. Trying to figure out where to approach the map from. Back and forth, wasting precious seconds. That's 30 seconds off the clock. Cryan working his best in that security area, while Kento's going to rotate with Leon Gids to the cafe balcony instead. So it's a 2-part execute so far for this roam clear, which is also kind of the bomb site because it's the windows leading to the room next to the bomb site.
I like this rotation, and oh, a jump out from NJR. He can pull those off. It needs to urgently get back inside of this building, and does so. Nothing ventured, nothing, or well, lots gained, actually, onto this Leon Gids pick. Cryan answers back onto Gavin. Leon Gids has been dying very early over the last 3, 4, 5 rounds of Theme Park. That's not what you want out of your superstar player, and that, as it stands, the only hard breacher on this team at the moment. Kento Racketti's been droned inside a cafe. Can he avenge his teammate? Even though Gavin went down, top fragger in the entire lobby. Gavin, the youngest player and the newest player, sitting at 9 and 6. Oh, Panba. Oh, he doesn't even move! What a shot on the Kento Racketti. The advantage again, back into DarkZero's hands, and Panba does it a second time.
That's the Dark promotion right there. Just take the fight, swing, swing, swing. Coin to 2 versus 4 now. Similar position. They have to find these numbers, but DC, they're playing the odds, they're playing the corners. They're not giving them easy gunfights. Even Canadian swings back. It's Cryan all alone in a 1v4.
Reloading. Oh my.
Poor Cryan.
I feel for him. I gotta say, I really, really do.
You can jiggle all you want, but you gotta hit 4 heads.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Boop, boop, boop,
He doesn't see. Oh, there it is.
In through control room, he gets 1 pick. How many more players from DZ will have their back turned to him, though, Nick? That is the real question. 20 seconds to go. He's just gonna wait time out. I admire this attempt, going on to drone, but 3 players and no diffuser means that for Cryan, this is an all but impossible task. He gets 2 impactless exit kills, but that's it. And hey, 2 rounds in a row for DarkZero gives them their first lead of the map.
I think we need to be less selfish. We need to bring more
Tactical timeout called by Koi. And we get to listen in.
Listen up, boys. I got a lot to say in a little time. Right. These guys are prone gamers, right? A lot of the times when we're trying to make these late round plays, they're prone in fucking corners. So when this timer ticks down, start aiming crouch high if you're confident with your flicks to headshots, okay? Yep. A lot of the times as well, I saw it on the first round, I saw it on that round as well, we're freezing. We're facing obstacles and we're freezing. We need to start coming up with solutions together as a team. And the best solution we have with the gunners we have is to double push with a hot drone, which leads them on to my next point. Our drone economy is in the bin. We need to start using hot drones more to clear these positions. Grow some balls, they're not as good as you think they are, right?
Yeah, they are shit,
Headshot
boys.
these fuckers, right? Fucking headshot them. Start taking some risks, boys, and start making some winning plays. Standing there is the losing play. So let's go, boys!
I like that from me, but that final note saying that making no play is the losing play, and I live by the same philosophy as a player, is that there's action and there's inaction, and you can either lose by trying or lose by not trying. It's the same damn outcome. But at least in one of those scenarios, you are trying, which means there is a chance that you will be winning. Quite recognizing that drone economy in the bin, as Mimi put it. Not enough drones for the mid to late round to do the 2-man plus hot drone. What Mimi means by that is that you have 2 members go in together with a piece of information, could be a Gemini clone or a drone itself, right in front of them. It pings or gives out the information, the 2 members take the gunfight. At worst case, you trade 1 for 1. Best case, you trade 1 for 0. That means you just keep your members alive. I think it's very valuable what Mimi had to say. Now, Core, they have at least the next 2 rounds to apply it. Otherwise, if they find no success in those 2 rounds, it's DC winning 7-4. It's going to be that office bomb site upstairs to the east. And Koi bring out the same upper lineup. Cryan getting off the IQ onto a more proactive operator of the Lion. Can help his teammate globally across the map if any engagements were to come out. Canadian, we spoke about it. So much information in terms of operator play. The Valkyrie, the Pulse, the Solace, now the Echo. So DC perhaps expecting this time to tick down, or just wanting to get information to make proactive plays on the map as you can move around those yokai, so not stuck in one particular position.
Meepy providing so much value on these tactical timeouts, and I know it was something that was discussed by the talent in our group this morning. It was either this morning or it was yesterday morning, but there was a discussion about the importance of these timeouts and what can be gained by these coaches. The difference in style. Earlier today, Mr. Officer giving some very choice words to Joom, and Joom in particular. Meepy giving very strategic advice that is intended for the entire team. Other coaches working to motivate the squad, but giving no actual strategy behind it. There's a very different way to approach it, and each roster requires a different coach. Some players will respond to kindness. Others will respond to orders. So it really comes down to how do you tailor your coaching to the players in front of you. Mint isn't really taking a lot of time out, so it's hard to see how Mint approaches it.
I mean, when you got Troy on your team, he's half a coach himself. I'm sure he's got plenty of things to say, but Koi, aggression, right? These risk plays, not hitting the bomb site just yet, but they're damn close to it. That's going to be a surprising factor when this DarkZero drones it out. The Yokai drones, they are there, they see it, but the Frost Mat, it finds Kanto as well. They need Skies and Cry and fight it out. It's a trade for them in the 3 vs 4.
Oh, this is real ugly, but DZ knows ugly, and they thrive in it. Spoit and Leon Gids left as the rest of their team is reduced to ashes. Still got the Yokai in play as well. It's going to haunt Spoy in this position as he works into daycare. Leon Gids now to drop. Rocking what appears to be the Berlin Major Charm.
It's not a bad one.
These are major champions, Koi, and they're hoping to play on the main stage on Friday. Now, it's still possible that they could get there, even if they lose this match. And Leon Gids losing that engagement means it's all on Spoit in a 1v3, and he's going to do the exact damn thing. Does he have better results? Inside a vault. I like that DZ is paying a lot more confidence to Spoit than they are to Leon Gids. Confidence is rewarded. DZ moved to map point. Spoit so far through this matchup been far more of a threat than Leon Gids has been, and I think that's partially why DZ did that. But also, because you're in a 1v3 at that point.
Yeah.
You can shoot it from that drone on next to this one.
In the 3v2, you still have an advantage, but it's not like a guaranteed round. However, in the 1 vs 3, they can't just start planting. So once you secure that scenario, you just play far back, establish those crossfire, play discipline. The worst kinds of rounds to lose are the ones you basically have already won. That 1 vs 3 that Sport found himself in is one of those rounds that DC should never lose unless they make a massive mistake and Sport plays it perfectly all at the same time. There's been a rehost requested as Pambasu's gun just stopped working apparently.
You don't need to play through it.
Yeah, just play through it. It's not a big deal. It's just match point. Pambasu can just gadget, hopefully. Leon Gids says mouse 1 mate. Good one. As if Pambasu would know what the trigger is.
If only it was that simple.
I will say, the reason why Leon Gids is one of the OG pro players, and Sport is a young gunner who just recently entered the scene about 7 months ago. We saw it last round. Did you catch it, Parker? What it was?
What?
It's a very specific thing.
Tell me.
When Leon went for the vault up to that rotate near vault, first try.
He got it.
Effortlessly. That is so hard to do. Sport?
3 times.
Exactly. That is the difference between
skill diff.
Some of the best, exactly. Skill issue, right? Skill diff. Leon Gids one of the best players in the world.
Spoit not.
By my standards. Spoit not.
There you go.
Quite far down the ladder.
It is decided.
Yeah.
And did you know that Spoit, if you're listening right now, you too could pay $7.99 for some pro tutoring from none other than Niklas Moritzen. But you know him as Pingu.
Yes, Pingu. You know, I think you should try your hand at it, Parker. Apply your casting skills to a coaching style instead. Say, you know, see what you can do, what you can make happen with that.
The only reason why I'd want to be a coach is because I could stand behind the players and look half as good as Meepy does.
He has been looking dapper this tournament, I will say.
I will be frank. You see coaches wear a wide assortment of things. A lot of them opt to go with like the baseball route, which is where you wear a jersey, just like a lot of the players do. But it's very common in traditional sports to wear nice attire behind the team.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, some of the football, aka soccer, depending on where you're from, coaches end up being better dressed than the players ever are. We'd be really upping the standard. Joe Bro, also, when he was behind Sonic,
oh yeah,
looked incredible. Call Out, always dressed up as well. These guys like to dress to the nines, that's for sure.
We did have what was called a suit day in the NAL, a tie day.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, that was wonderful. So basically all staff and coaches.
That was the last day of like the first stage, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a while ago. Stage 1 and Stage 2, if I recall correctly, where all non-players essentially had to wear nice attire, and it looked so good. Some came up super overdressed, some had some wrinkled stuff on that was like, they got it out, but didn't iron it, like whatever. But overall, the best looking play day of the NAL was definitely that day. Maybe, of course. I think he's the only coach that I remember seeing who's been keeping up this dapper trend so far for like every or most play days.
Call Out?
Has Call Out every game?
Always, I think Call Out is in a collared shirt every single game.
Okay. Respect, honestly. In the morning, when we take the elevators up and down in the hotel, the one team that I always bump into the most is Astralis. They seem to always be on the move.
Do they do the thing in the elevator?
What thing?
Where they turn around and look at the wall?
No. What?
So a couple talent have told me that when they got in, Astralis all had their backs to the door and were all facing the walls of the elevators. And I just frankly didn't believe it because I rode the elevator with Astralis, I think like 2 times, and they never did either.
No.
It was like a day or 2 ago, I rode the elevator with Astralis, and they did the same thing. They all turned around, they're like, guys, there's a door here. Guys, there's a door here. I was, what are you doing? We're not looking in the right direction. Guys, there's a door here. And they're all staring at the walls. And I'm like, is this some kind of performance art? I don't understand.
I mean, I don't get it either. I'll say from my side, I have not.
Is there a stranger team than Astralis?
No.
That's what I want to know.
No, I don't think so. No. They got some character. I'll give you that. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They just stand out.
I'm a big fan of Astralis. I got to say this. I like their charisma. I like their charm. I believe the kids call it
Riz. Yeah, W Riz.
Astralis got it. That's for sure.
You know where Riz comes from, right?
Charisma.
Okay, you do. Okay.
Charisma.
Exactly. Not many people know that. Not everyone knows that.
No, I did the NA qualifiers, the open quals, with some younger players like Merc, Newers, Sweater, etc., and they kept mentioning Riz. And at one point I was just like, what does that mean? What is Riz? I'm 32 years old. What is Riz?
Yeah, explain it to me like I'm 5. Yeah. Well, my mom's learned the slang of Twitch chat because she watches the games when I was a player, and she now listens to the cast. And I'm sure your mother as well. They pick up on these slang words and terms and whatnot. No?
What is Pog?
Yeah.
Well, it's part of Frost Gadget.
That too.
All right. We're in live action right now. And what was an extended timeout taken by this Koi squad back in round number 9. DZ wins the next round. And then there is a rehost that resets the stats.
Unlucky.
Top players on DZ were both Gavin and Panba.
Yes.
For Koi, it was kind of a mixed bag, but Deepak and Spoit were near the top. Just as we saw DZ do in desperate times, you break glass and you bring out the Monty in case of emergency. It's Leon Gids, who's had some trouble finding the scoreboard the way that they expect him to, and so you put him on a shield operator.
Yeah.
He's going to give calls.
I mean, look at the pace. I mean, you're really streamlining your own clear right now. You're walking through it. And that's the benefit of the Monty. Tough call right now is, do you go all the way through the top floor? Or do you just take your half, give DC what they have right here on the cafe side, and go downstairs and start hitting out those side walls themselves? Decision time for colors. They're joining out the rest of the map. It looks like they might just start hitting that maintenance wall, dragging doors, see what they can make happen. Kento upstairs, holding down that flank for now, as he's not needed. The Ying The important aspect of this operator is going to be that in that execute phase. That's when you want the Candelas and the smokes. Until then, just keep Ying alive, can hold the flanks down comfortably. Nate goes over, EMP on wall, exothermic charge gets up, but the impact grenade, it's ready. By standing in that corner and tossing it out, if you do it correctly, you will deny the breach.
Keyword correctly.
Yeah.
Koi with the first pick on NJR, and now they've got the wall open as well. NJR's had an okay game so far. He's had moments of brilliance. Overall, his consistency has been not assured. That's Panbazoo hunted down upstairs in bunk. DZ went on a full rotation through the 4 bomb sites, starting on throne, then going to lab, then to bunk, then to office. They go back to what is typically the most favorable bomb site in the entire game to the defenders. Stats-wise for SI, it's not. Now it's Leon Gids to trudge through the toxic gas. He takes a bunch of damage, but he's in the middle of the bomb site. They see his presence right there, and he's giving calls. Deepak cannot get up as far as he wants because of it, but there's kill 1 for Deepak. There's kill 2 for Deepak. A third eludes him. Spoit gets it. Now it's Skies to fire away in a 1v5 that becomes a 1v4. He's got the Monty right behind him. This is a bad spot to be in. Candelas go off, and Spoit secures the final kill. All 12 rounds are needed between these teams. In typical DZ fashion, we do not get quick games.
We do not. DZ, one of the teams across their entire career or run as an organization, they always go third map, they always go OT, and they always have to really fight for every single round. Being a DC fan is not easy in that regard. The Monty really working out in the favor of Koi. I mean, Leon just walks on in, arguably a little bit too offensive, but Leon, he reads the situation perfectly. He recognized that he can just stand on throne, nobody can wide swing him because the breach is open, just give those yellow pings off for information, and Canadian on the smoke only had a single toxic babe left. When that went out, it did like 30 damage, and that's it. No real way to clear out the Monty, and DC just had to start swinging the breach. Lost their gunfights.
Yeah, when Leon Gids was standing there in the back of the bomb site, I think the one message that DZ really needed to get was they just really needed to watch the throne.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took you a second.
It had to click.
But we got there. So great record, by the way, great record. Half of it is great now. half of it is a no-no.
Deepak and Koi.
What an insane situation.
I didn't think that was going to happen, I'll be honest.
Anyway.
Instead of the Monty, they're bringing out the Osa instead. Again, the shields, the Talon shields this time to help the execute. That is the biggest problem for the attackers, right? When you get to the bomb site, the walls are opened on up. Getting in is one problem, safely planning is a second problem. Before you get there, it is about trying to build that man advantage. In Koi so far, doing a pretty good job at finding the opening kills, so at the very least, trading them evenly. So those contested openings from both teams. When you got both the Ying and the Osa, you have 2 different kinds of execute enablers, while you still have Cryan, Leon, and Sport that can do the intro duties.
Even though their stats don't show it, in large part because of how few games they've played, there are lots of offensive threats for this Koi squad. Haven't really felt it so far. You're waiting for Spoit to get things going on the team.
Yeah. He's got through in the previous round.
I believe at this point he's broken 100 kills, so kudos to Spoit. NJR obviously having that sluggish game. He was in position to challenge Shaiko, but doesn't look like it's going to happen at the moment. At least not yet.
Dangerous position to be in here for NJR. Stuck between the 2 windows, gets thrown out, but there are no grenades. It's going to be a gridlock and an ace, so they can't clear out his actual position. Not yet.
Speaking of grenades, one from below on the Panbazoo, blown sky high. Spoit gets the read from down below. It took just over half of the round, but Koi get on the board.
And Pamba walked on top of it. He was safe in the corner. Obviously, he doesn't know what's about to happen, but Spoit getting a bit good timing on his end. He's now sitting on 4 kills. And again, these opening picks for Koi, building up that man lead, and as Panbazoo of all members that you take out, that's going to bode well for you in the late round.
Koi have 5 of the 6 first bloods in this half, and yet they've only got 2 rounds so far. They've been exceptional at beginning things, NGR answers back, a Nitro Cell explosive for explosive, and suddenly DZ have a big advantage. They try for more with DPEC, but can only get about half of his HP in the process. There's a Warden on the board, and NJR will have to be there to rebuff Kanto, who takes out Gavin and has plenty more munition to go with. Canadian tucked into the corner, waiting for the Candela to go, and there's NJR activating the smart glasses. Canadian is as good as dead as the Candela blinds him. DZ had the advantage. Now they trail with only 15 to go. NJR on the ground, but what did Meepy say? Look down. Skies with 1 kill, almost running to his death. He'll need to engage with the shotgun, but DPEC is there for insurance, and we've got overtime on the board.
All the way as we go. I have to say.
You were unreal that round, by the way.
Unreal.
You were unreal, but just be careful where you're planting, yeah?
I didn't hear where the last goal was.
You were really, really good. You were really, really good.
But watch where you're planting.
But you were really good.
I will say, Kanto played that round so well. He was playing it patiently. Each Candela, time between them, isolated 1v1. You see the first opening, backs off, chills. Cook's second Candela goes in, takes out Canadian. I will say, however, NGR really sold Canadian short in that round. And there's a reason for it, right? There's the arcade hallway and there's the bomb site itself. It's a 50-50 guess. If NGR covers Canadian but gets swung from the door, then NGR dies. However, what happens is that Kanto flashes out Canadian on the bomb side. NGR doesn't cover it with the smart glasses on. Canadian just dies for nothing. Kanto's 1 HP, but Troy cannot fight back. He can't see a damn thing. NGR took the wrong guess. Skies with the shotgun in hand almost made the dream clutch on match point. Couldn't do it. They were there, 2 members, front to back. They get the trade successfully and brings it into overtime.
You know, there's a constant joke on social media, be it Twitter or more prominently on Reddit, where DZ fans gripe about how it's not easy to be a fan of DarkZero.
Yeah.
All of them, they've got their cardiologists on speed dial because the palpitations that they must get watching this team day in, day out, and I'm sure you watch a disproportionate amount of DarkZero as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine. That's the beauty of my position. I don't care about any of these teams whatsoever in terms of fandom. I just want the best story and I want the best match. I don't care if DarkZero is the best team. I don't care if Koi's the best team. I just want entertainment. So for me, there's no investment here. But for you fans, oh boy. It must be mighty challenging to be a fan of DarkZero, especially with how many maps these teams continue to play.
Yeah. I will say, the good thing to be a DarkZero fan is that they're starting on defense. So they get 2 of the next 3 rounds on it if we go the distance all the way. Kanto once again on the Ying. He's been flexing it off of Koi, the glass, now the Ying, finding success, getting better at it as well as time goes on, as Kanto doesn't typically play these kinds of operators. He's normally on the sledge, on the injury job, but DPEC and him, they kind of swap it up depending on what operator that they need in these rounds, and it gives Koi more depth as a team on these attacks, and so far, it's really been working out for them. DC not having an answer, there's no ward on the board.
Down goes Leon Gids yet again, dying early for this team. A lot of early deaths for Leon, and this is something that he's battled his whole career, where Leon, if he could not be constrained, then the team would consistently find themselves at a disadvantage. This was happening when he was on IDK and Team Secret years and years and years ago. It's good to know that sometimes old habits don't die hard. They don't.
Koi forgot the diffuser 2 rounds ago. Right now it's outside the building, outside that the barrel window. Okay, Kanto is there now. I was worried for them that they would forget, get in the bomb site, not be able to plant. Someone made the call, probably Leon, saying, guys, do not forget diffuser this time. They picked it up. Buck and Sledge making quick work off the floor.
This is something you don't actually see all that often. Sledge and Buck being brought at the same time is somewhat of a rarity. There goes a grenade and it chooses the wrong direction to bounce. Takes out the Goyo canister instead. 2 players from DZ evading it for now, not taking a single point of damage. They've got some of their vision cut off. With most of this floor carved up, it should be relatively easy for Koi to see down there. but that is not the case. Oh, Cry and eliminates Skies, and Spoit knifes the behind of Gavin through the soft wall. Suddenly, the advantage that was had for DZ is now gone, but there's actually two mats there. NJR just slaughters the members of Koi, and now it's Crying in the midst of the flames with Spoit as backup. No time left for them to get in, and they cannot secure. DarkZero survives a scare, but they come out ahead, and they move back to map point.
Gavin making a clutch call there, popping the Goyo canisters at 22 seconds left in the round, right before getting killed himself from that punch hole. Now, because the fire was popped, NJR couldn't push on in. Koi couldn't push on in. Crying couldn't kill NJR because of it, so it saves him. And because the time runs out, Diffuser outside the side window, DC can just sit right back, not have to take these engagements, get that 7th round. But now things get more difficult. Now the sides, they switch. DC, they tried a couple of things on attack. The Ying, the Amaru, the Jackal, the IQ. Currently hovering the Monty as Skies. They also did play Monty one single round, did not find success.
It was Skies on that Montaigne as well.
Yep. He's the man for it, the man for the job. But Skies have been pretty good at finding these openings in the mid-round, to be honest. And when he's on the Monty, he can't do that. Cursey, what heartbreaks they bring. The Thermite currently being shown. It is prone to the impact trick, which failed the last time. But if that strikes true on the Thermite charge, that could, of course, deny DC the injury point they want. This could be a very similar attack that Rogue tried on that maintenance breach. I'll have to see.
Rogue, of course, being the old name for Koi.
Oh, did I say it?
It happens. I've heard it a number of times. I wouldn't worry too much. This is the first look at this Koi squad that we see after the two organizations became one.
Yes, the merch.
Purple versus purple. I can see it.
These are the only purple logos that we have, correct? DarkZero was the first, now Koi the second.
I mean, truth be told, there's a lot of teams playing at a tier 1 level that I can't tell you which ones aren't purple. But I mean, purple and pink are two colors that aren't really represented all that much in pro play across all esports orgs.
That's true.
Hambazoo seems to have very poor intel or no intel whatsoever, as same with the Valkyrie of Kanto Raketti, who spends a nitro cell on the hatch over by Bunk. Panba using one of those grenades to blow up that little avenue that they have above Dragon.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the wind of the vault there. Just making a decision between one or the other. He ends up vaulting over and shooting the window a little bit on the way down. DC, a very slow round, setting up that half of the top floor. Air jabs, they get put. The flank is going to be covered. It does appear to be that similar style executive maintenance wall open up into a thrown attack. Koi, they have what? Yokais. They have 1 C4, no smoke on the board, so the time being 130 isn't too bad for DarkZero. And the Monty can just walk in with Diffuser, protect it. Claw comes out. Is the second EP there? It is.
Perfectly timed. Leon Gids' utility will be no match for the exothermic charge, and everybody's stacked up in the same area for DZ. They're going to allow Skies to take point as the mountain walks on in, and he'll discover that the back of Throne is completely free.
He can stop planting, honestly.
The Yokai drone's being moved into action, and that's exactly what's happening. Sky's getting the diffuser down. DZ called into action. Kanto Raketti the first to go down. One by split. That's Leon Gids, and that's Sky's down as well. Canadian will now hold on to the diffuser. He can go for a plant. Spoit's been down in the process. We saw the Yokais getting into action. Deepak needs to be very quick about this because all of his teammates are dying. Cryan takes out NJR. DZ with 3 bodies up. Spoit recovered. And there's the Yokai to knock some confusion into the head of Canadian. Spoit watching. At the top, a long angle down to Dragon as the diffuser goes down yet again. Spoit finds Panba. He was watching that angle. Gavin looks away at the last second. It's T-Peck to capitalize off of it. And Gavin needs to win this one, but Koi is perfect. They get all 3 kills, and the exclamations from the bench of Koi are all you need to hear to know we're going to round 15.
What an extremely chaotic round that is. I mean, DC are in, they stop planting like on the spot. Then the Monty gets C4, Canadian retakes, kills goes back and forth. Canadian does not stick the plant. They want to go deep because the roamers of Sky are closing in. It's a complete massacre in the late round. DC to take a timeout for this final round.
so either. I feel like Bonk, bro, and Castle. They have like nothing to clear Castle.
Bro, I'm just getting harassed. Like, they're just getting a free pick. I literally don't know what to do.
Play more towards low, bro. I don't know who can play Castle, though. Huh? I can play. Okay, yeah, do that. The only thing is I won't have anything for fucking Monty.
Could we just play like a more typical bunk, like guy top pink, guy like Goose?
You have been. I mean, I did that the other day.
Oh, okay.
It's just that and I did the yin. Let's go! Okay, am I bringing shield or wire?
I feel like they might try to...
30-second timeout. I don't even think Min said 30 words.
I was gonna say, that is such a difference to the timeout of sport, right? That was all for the players to discuss what bomb site to go to, what operators to play, and then how to play it in terms of positions. DC are worried about the Monty. That was very evident. Said, if I'm playing the castle, I got nothing for the Monty. Skies gets the smoke, NDR has a C4 on the Warden. Of course, the Warden being played because of the Ying. And this is kind of the insight that we gain here into how the specific operators that you can bring on attack will impact the mental strength and also the problem solving as a defending team. If you're DarkZero right now, A, you gotta bring the Warden because Ying's a problem. 2, you gotta worry about the Monty being a possibility. You gotta bring counters, the smoke, C4s, the yokai, etc. And 3, you gotta worry about a side rush because you know Koi likes to do it with the Amaru, the Ying, the Lion, just storm through a window, storm through a door. But you also need to have all your stable things covered. The right rotations, the castle barricades, for example. And then someone like Pambus who goes, I really do not know what to play. He's the +1 for this bomb site, so he can play any operator, but he's trying his hardest to figure out what's the highest value operator for me and my team, where I'm comfortable and we gain something. He defaults to Dog. Canadian takes the castle off of his shoulders because he's not supposed to be the +1. So this is Canadian allowing Pambisu to thrive in this round and being on a comfortable operator where he can try and get some damage done.
Stark contrast to that Meepy timeout.
So
really
different.
Completely different. Meepy took charge. You know whose team it is.
Yeah.
Canadian took charge of that DZ timeout, and you heard input from NJR. You heard input from Skies.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Mint being the one with the assertiveness. No, it was Canadian.
Mint's such a nice guy. Calls a timeout and says, all right, the floor's yours, Canadian. You talk to the soldiers.
I mean, if he's the one who's doing it, then let him do it, right?
No, absolutely. And I mean, also, I'm sure if Mint was in a disagreement or had something specific that he wanted to point out, he would say it. But the way the rounds are going, there's nothing glaringly wrong for DarkZero or for Koi. It is really those small things. The key operators being the Monty, the Ying, the Osa, how they execute, the impact grenades, where they go, and the counters to all the small mini executes. Last time Koi attacked this bomb site, it was Kanto and the Ying just carrying them forward. If NGR was there in the right spot, the right time, with the Warden glasses on, Kanto doesn't get those 3 entry kills. So it's the details right now it all boils down to. The opening kill, one of the slowest rounds so far to be a 5v5 at a minute and 10 seconds, and
ooh, not what you want to see for DZ. Canadian playing Castle, having a bit of difficulties. Pamba challenges. Spoit is just phenomenal. 11-1 since coming back from this rehost. That's what, 5 rounds? 4 rounds? Good lord. The clinic Spoit is putting on. Kanto takes him down. Deepak as well. A kill. It's Gavin to try and clutch, but Spoit gets the 3K. The timeout does absolutely nothing, not a damn thing. Koi sniping DZ's map of Theme Park. It's only the 2nd time at the 6 Invitational that Koi have played this map. They lost it to G2 3-7, but by an 8-7 scoreline, they stunned DarkZero. And now they move to their favored map of Skyscraper to knock DZ down to the lower bracket.
That Koi certainly wasn't supposed to win this map, and in that final round, it's Sport who just walks up a staircase and finds all the picks. That was not supposed to happen for the defending team, but that's Koi's pocket pick. They got that surprise factor every single round.
DZ's already played 3 maps today. I have no doubt that there's some fatigue that begins to set in, especially as we now hit 9 o'clock. And some of these teams have probably been up for about 12 hours.
Yeah.
But if you're Koi, you're coming in cold. I mean, you could argue that DZ's warmed up and ready to play. That's all speculation on our part. You saw the results. What's going to happen on Skyscraper? We'll find out after this break.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a two-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position, that is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
Does that fantastic job of slapping him down initially.
You're pretty surprised, Bill, that Spirits just bleed out over here. Looks like they're gonna move DS around. I do believe they're getting him right now. Yeah, he's getting in position to apply some pressure, and there we go. Spirits back up. Now M80 can try and figure out their assault once again. That soaked up so much time, though. Already halfway through now. Just to get Spirits down and back up. Nitro Cell's out for W7M, not going to do anything to the players upstairs. M80 waiting for W7M's next move.
Well, at the moment, M80 talks a little more on establishing top downs over anything else. This could be what allows them into the site. If I look at a few of these for free. Herds, though, ready to spray back against that. He's got to be careful, as he is being exposed quite quickly. JV92 still in the action here as he fires back with one volley of his own to get revenge for the death of his teammate now. Still going to leave W7M in the winning position as a result of that one, but M80 more than prepared. As you can see, EOS establishing the counter to this freezer rotate. More than prepared for potentially some of the shenanigans to be thrown at them by the defense here. Kino, strike next. He'll find a Vaults waiting at the bottom of the kid's hatch. Drop in to take site control away as well. W7M, though, to keep the numbers still down and even. And JV92 just gets away with a dash up light stairs. Counters things down. Diaz and Kino both have to unfocus from the plant phase for a moment as they have a player attempting to push their way out. KZ with the big focus on him right now. He'll end up going down, yes, but Kino gets dropped because of JV92's position up on top. 18 seconds to resume the plant, and Diaz has to go for it. He's missed his chance to wait it out on the hatch play outright. JV92 is too smart to get baited in by that. Instead, Diaz will go for the corner plant. JV92 hears it. Crawls back out, the stick is in, but he jumps off, tries to go for the kill, but JV92 cannot be beaten. It's another 5-1-1 from our defenders as W7Ms forge their way ahead.
No secrets up the sleeve of W7M there. No money in the pockets either, but plenty of rounds. 5-1 on that half. Yet again for W7M. Looks like you cannot kill their will. Almost a practically perfect half yet again after what we witnessed there on border. Now M80 looking to try and fix some things up. I think W7M did a fantastic job of once again getting ahead of M80, giving them a lot of problems inside of the early round, not really allowing them to get set up. And, you know, as well as even past that, when it came to the basement setups, doing a fantastic job of playing patiently, but keeping W7M at bay, not giving them everything that they wanted, you know, trying to apply the pressure in a bunch of different ways, but not really getting it done was M80, all due to these, you know, very strong positioning from W7M on a lot of their defensive rounds. So we'll see how they can get going on offense. Looks like they want to adopt the Monty into their play. Also, Maverick will come into fruition as well.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse.
So as the hop out is just thrusted out by Yaga here. Trying to go a little bit wild as soon as we get the spawns in from W7M. And obviously not really going to be able to grapple much with that, and they read into his rotation back to Classroom. He tries to fire back in with a bit of spray on his own, but misses it. Now down to a sliver of HP from his very aggressive.
We hate to interrupt that M80 and W7M matchup, the two orgs that are competing with numbers in their names. As you saw, M80 had taken map number 1, but W7M were making quick work of that map 2 to send them to a third. Blue and Stokes are taking you the way over there. Over here, DZ, well, would you believe it, went to 15 rounds yet again. And it wasn't the victory that they had hoped for, though.
No, I mean, it wasn't a victory at all. They ended up losing in a very one-sided final round. as Sport just walked up and getting 3 kills on the arcade stairs. But the rounds prior, as we watched the replays, relatively close. Came down to multiple 2v2s, 2v1s, and both teams really having good plays in that early game, finally opening picks time and time again.
This was a beautiful play by Pambazoo, by the way. He tried that again in a second round. These pixel angles held by these teams, showing how evenly matched they are. Now, it was quite a surprise, I'm sure, for DarkZero, given the results, but they've had a bit of struggles so far at the Six Invitational. DZ have not come in and looked like the most dominant team, and the only thing really, I think, keeping them from more criticism is that SSG in North America looked worse than DZ did. The talk has been all about M80 and Sonics as the two hopes for North America. Look at your scoreboard in front of you.
Oh boy.
19 kills for Spoit.
Yeah, so, I mean, he dropped, what, 11 or 12 kills after the rehost happened, so almost breaking 20, plus 11 in KD, but the injury stats, they don't lie. It's pretty much all Spoit from the side of Core in the top heavy part, but look at DarkZero. 14 kills on the top, then 11, 11, 11. Full team effort. Wickedin, of course, going 7 to 11, playing the Monty role, and Skyscraper Monty, playing those information operators.
Yep. No, rightly said. Spoit entered this contest with 93 kills, so he sailed well past the 100 mark. NJR entered trailing Newers by 17 kills. Apologies, math is tough. NJR picked up 11 kills. He's 6 back of Newers for second place overall. And he's looking to close in on Shaiko, who is not in action. DZ have now played 15 maps, tying BDS for the most of any team at this event, but they're about to head into map 16. And if we know anything about DZ, it's that map 17 is also quite likely.
Yeah. However, there is one thing that kind of might stop that from happening. It's Skyscraper. Koi, they love this map. They play it domestically, they play it international, and I think overall, they have a pretty good read on how you can play the game in terms of the meta approach with certain operators like the Asami, like the Warden, the Frost, deployable shields, etc. And DarkZero, well, are they up to the task? We'll have to find out as we are heading just straight into the map. Operator band's on the way, just a second. Well, first, let's look at these beautiful bomb sites. We got the kitchen downstairs. We got the office upstairs.
That was tea.
That was karaoke tea, actually.
That was tea. Yeah, that was a teapot. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Teapot party time.
DZ banned Nook and Azami on the previous map. As for Koi, it was Dokubi and Mira. Nook banned out again by DZ right off the hop.
Yeah, you have no choice. Kryan and Nuke is too good. You just gotta ban it every single time.
I mean, you talked about this in particular, but other casters have as well, about how Kryan could very much be in the conversation for best Nook overall in the world at the moment.
Most respected how many operator bans are targeted specifically toward him. I think that's for certain. Card banning out the Mira and the Dokkaebi, DarkZero, Canadian.
Identical bans, by the way.
Exactly, identical bans again because we're respecting the players and their playstyle choices on these maps, and then a different one.
That's a change.
Bandit is an operator that gets banned very rarely, but on Skyscraper, that is where this tends to happen the most, and it's because of the nature of how those external walls work on all the bomb sites. On the Karaoke side, you got the Geisha single wall leading to outside the building, and on the office bomb side, you have the double wall leading to the balcony and the single wall leading to the balcony on the opposite side of the bomb site. With Bandit being banned out, no tricks will happen. Sure, you can slap a jammer there or a kite claw, but a single EMP will deal with that just fine, and it frees up. You know, you don't have to go downstairs to deal with the Bandit, and you buy more time on the clock, you can save your grenades.
What if I told you that Bandit was the 6th most banned defender?
I would be very surprised to hear that.
That's true. Valkyrie is the highest ban rate of all the defenders, followed by Azami, then Solus, then Kaid, then Mira, then Bandit.
That is definitely a
To be fair, Valkyrie's ban rate is 53% of all maps. Bandit's ban rate is 6%. It's quite a drop-off.
Okay, that is a drop-off.
Even Valkyrie down to Azami in 2nd place is 53 to 38%. So 1 in 3 maps you will see an Azami ban. Bandit's only been banned 6% of the time. It is very top-heavy. But still, it's not that rare, and I feel like we've seen, you and I, at least 2 other Bandit bans so far this event.
No, that we have. And again, one of those was on Skyscraper, so that pattern tends to follow just right. Early start here for both teams. It's going to be another slow approach. I say another one. The first slow approach so far, of course, you got to go through the motions of roam clearing and respecting your opponents. Koi gonna roam clear from the east over towards the west, open up this office double wall, and start making the entry. DC already fallen off this area of the map. They got their stronghold on Drum and Top Dragon, and that's what the first pain point is going to be for Koi to break apart.
Reason why you see Bandit bans on some of these maps versus others would be the amount of ways that a Bandit can sit totally sheltered and successfully trick, right? There are certain walls and there are certain floors under those walls where you can't really do that much. If a Bandit's there, you're kind of doomed. Just as we saw Kanto be a bit doomed. Hops into Terrace, contests against Gavin on Drum. Deepak gets it back.
It's a cheeky angle on the rappel.
But still, there was a small advantage. I'm going to put that one down as a trade.
Yeah, good point. Once again, no one gains much from this. It's back and forth. It's been 10 seconds, give or take. No clear advantage. Pampus still has a shield position, Top Dragon, but Drum has now been surrendered by DarkZero as Asami was needed to hold that position aggressively. So Koi trading that 1-for-1 in a great way.
Oh, and a run out from Canadian. Nets a kill onto Deepak. That was the rappel that you saw. Called it a cheeky angle. Hard to contend against somebody who hops out of that kitchen window. Toxic Canister goes out. Skies has used all of them with a minute to go. Look at this angle, by the way. Hoo boy. Skies is totally concealed behind that Kiba barrier.
Yeah, he's got the shotgun. Injara engaged with the crossfire as well. He can sit nice and tight here with no Toxic Babes, just the walking gun.
Leon Gids walks in, takes an NJR. Skies follows to Spoit. Dozen kills for Spoit so far in this contest. Or rather, 20 kills for Spoit so far in this contest. Approaching 24. DZ trail. And now it's Panbazoo taking a bunch of damage. And being finished off by none other than Spoit. Do you believe in Spoit's superiority? Because I'm starting to, Nick. Canadian far back at backstairs. No real information, but that P90 has a lot of bullets in the mag. Quick reload, diffuser going down, Leon Gids successful. But it's Spoit, 3 kills. Business as usual.
It's too easy.
It's too easy.
Picking Sky or letting us play it.
I mean, let's just see if the replay shows it. Spoit literally just walks in. It doesn't show it, I don't think. But yeah, Sky's there with the shotgun, SMG11 in hand, waiting, ready. And Sport just walks in and it looks so easy. And it's just like that late half, the last 6 rounds or so of Theme Park where Sport walks in somewhere against all the odds and he just comes and wins out 1, 2, 3 kills back to back. And I mean, when Koi, they're operating like this, that's when they're at their strongest, when they can just find openings effortlessly. Normally it's Cryan and Sport working together on one side of the map, while you have Leon, Gitz, Deepak and Kento working the opposite side. So they have these 2 squads working at the same time. They did it last round. One squad they roam cleared west over, the other one they open up that geisha wall. So its stats are Thermite doing one job and injuries doing the other. And it means that Koi buys so much time on the clock because they're so effective. If you've heard their voice comms on YouTube on their channel that Leon Gitz also uploads on Twitter sometimes, you'll hear that they have this way of communicating at the same time because no one's yelling. It's very quiet. Leon will say, hey Kento, go over here, do this. And then Cryan will go, hey Sport, get ready. And they've just been working on that for the last 6 or so months, if not longer, and really perfected that craft. On a map like Skyscraper, that's where it really starts showing. Almost reinforced Sport, but nice try. Did it last round, open up that soft part. DC made an adaptation to reinforce it now, to hold on to the roam game for longer. It is a slightly different bomb site. They've gone downstairs in barbecue kitchen instead, but it plays out similarly. Geisha wall matters, that's reinforced. The extended roam on the west side, or the east side, sorry, also matters. Koi gonna pop open the first wall. Gavin again finds an opening kill onto Sport this time. So star player shot down. Sport's on 22 kills so far with that opening 3K.
Silence the best player on Koi and the likelihood of you winning the round goes up. But once you get to this level, there's a lot of weapons on both of these teams. Again, a look of confusion and surprise on Cryan's face as he finds one player from DZ on backstairs.
So animated.
That clip of him fighting
the microphone
arm on his mic is an all-timer.
Oh,
that's one of the best clips to come out of this scene in a long time. Down goes Canadian. The Solus that was roaming is no more. Kanto Raketti finds him off-site. Both of these bomb sites on the west side of the map, starting on T Karaoke and then almost directly beneath it. It's the barbecue kitchen bomb site for round number 2.
DC sitting tight, got that info up above. C4 prepped and ready. All Skies needs is the call of when, and then it's gonna pop!
Oh, it looked like he hit it with his hammer, triggering the mine. Kanto Raketti going for the swing, and oh, it's an explosive end. Hey, what if every, like, 10,000 sledge swings his hammer, he just blows up? How fun would that be?
That would be so
How fun
unfair.
would that be if that was in the game?
Oh, tremendously fun for defenders, not so fun if you're Kanto
Rocket hammer!
But a great sight for the spectators and the fans of the game, of course.
Sure what it looked like, of course. DZ with the advantage. They've also taken out one of those exothermic charges that were put on the soft hatch upstairs inside of Geisha. So it's not just kills that DZ's coming out ahead on, it's also taking out the gadgetry of Koi.
Yeah, good puzzle solving so far. I mean, again, DC's just been hiding in corners, has the crossfire. Koi just gotta break it by brute forcing on in these windows and doorways and just win their gunfights. Issue is, they're down a man, but they're gonna try their best.
Oh, barging into the bomb site. Leon Gitz falters, Cryan the only pick in that engagement, and he gets pokeballed by Gavin.
Way to call what we're watching, way to call what we need held. That's all we gotta do.
You'd think they'd be happy with the round win, but still time for Canadian to give some guidance to the rest of his team.
Listening to Bonk, DarkZero's voice comes, it very much seems like when they're playing the game, they're locked in and everything's kind of not emotionless, but they're definitely trying to not let their feelings affect them in the server, which is something that a lot of top competitive teams do in regular sports as well, because especially when you find yourself in overtime, max OT that 15th round, you can get scared easily and not make the same play, take the same risk. And I spoke to Troy in the elevator, I think yesterday or this morning, and I was like, what's up with the face paint? I was like, is that like, are you gonna get into the zone? Like when you put on your jersey and your game shoes? And he's like, yeah, kind of. It's like, he started doing it because he liked it, he thought it was fun. And then one day the entire team was just like, they also want to do it. And now it's almost like a team ritual where like, it's game time. We put on our wall paint, we put on our jerseys, and we're going to win these games and just put in 110%.
Troy comes from hockey. He used to play at a very high level. He's talked about this in a number of biographies and documentaries, or rather not biographies, but documentaries that he's done, and how he was forced out of it due to concussions. But hockey has to be one of the most superstitious of all sports. Whether it be players doing the exact same thing before every single game, or simply thinking that they have lucky equipment. The best hockey player in the world right now is a gentleman named Connor McDavid, and he's got a pair of socks that just have been completely destroyed at this point. They're not even socks. You can see his toes for free, and he still wears them before every single game because he considers them to be good luck. So if Canadian thinks there's some good luck with that face paint, that war paint, let him have his stitions, even if they are a little super. Now, DZ and Koi both losing some players very quickly on. They trade back. Panbazoo dies, and Cryan goes with him. Mutually assured destruction. And with just over 2 minutes to go, these teams will now reset. Damning for DZ as Wamai continues to generate those magnet discs. As time goes on, won't be able to do that now that he's in the grave, so there will probably be 2 discs, maybe a third at most, set up before they lost that defender.
And this seems to be the name of the game for these two teams because only a handful of kills that aren't uncontested. Sport, he builds the advantage for Koi. But again, the opening kill always traded back immediately. The second one, however, normally quiet afterwards. Gavin, very far away from his team. No trade anywhere near him to be had. DC with the wall to the exterior balcony opened up. That might be an issue later on because Koi could rotate to that balcony, not have to deal with any hard destruction, and still have angle and pressure into the bomb site.
Proximity alarm gives a position away of 1 member from Koi. Could it be Spoit? Inside a drum? Meepy instructed them that DZ would be on the ground more often than not, and they still seem to be. We saw the silhouette of one DZ player that was prone, not far away over by Dragon. There it is, NJR, watching those footholes, and the flash goes out. Knows that he's being contested from this angle. He has ways to get back to the bomb site. Thank goodness for him and the rest of DZ.
Oh, yeah.
Terrace getting opened up by those Selmas, and slowly but surely, Koi chipping away at this defense. NJR doing what he does best, which is engage the enemy. Oh. Nice shot onto Deepak, and the Tracers whiz over his head as he's prone on the ground. Leon Gids, a pick on the skies. Both teams trading down, but it'll favor Koi. But look at Kanto and Spoit's HP so low. NJR gets 3 kills. And how about a 4K for NJR?
NJR finds himself in these rounds time and time again, finding these important moments. It looked like he was done for. Wall breach behind him. 2 members of Koi storming his front. He runs away, gets flashbang, just barely gets out. And then gets 4 kills right after, making it look easy. Yeah, he might be prone for half the round, but when he has to move, he does it. Right here, the wallbang attempt from Sport, punished. NJR knew his exact position due to those Tracers giving it away. DC building rounds. A slow lead. This is Skyscraper defense. Koi, they are very happy to start on the attack inside. But defending on Skyscraper, defending on any team, to be honest, is always going to be a little bit easier. Your job as a defender is to make it difficult to attack against you. Set up problems they need to solve. Right now, DC, they're doing their best. The shields, the frost mats, the keeper barriers, all problems that Koi has to solve going through these rounds time and time again. When that side sword comes, you know, it gets flipped. Then DC become the problem solvers, and Koi becomes the problem creators.
Now, these were stats from, if I remember correctly, the start of the day. I don't know if they still hold true at this exact moment, and I know that we watched an Oregon match earlier, but Skyscraper is tied for second least played map with Oregon. Only Villa has been played fewer times. And would you believe it, but both Oregon and Skyscraper are basically identical in their win rates. Those are the 2 most defender-sided maps at this point. Skyscraper, of the 115 rounds, has 60% of those being won by the defense to 40% from the attackers. T in Karaoke is the most lopsided bomb site at the present moment at 73% of all rounds.
That's big.
Being won by the defenders. Koi's already won that bomb site. That is massive in terms of statistics. Next up is Master and Bathroom downstairs, but it's only been played 5 times, so what all can you gain from it? The next most played bomb site is Office and Exhibition, which has almost played the same amount as T, and it's 56-44 favoring the defense. And that was the bomb site that DZ just won. Now, see something a little bit different. Gavin falters as once again DZ look to defend the most defender-sided bomb site, and they've started off on the wrong foot.
Again, Gavin completely isolated, no one nearby. And to make things worse, he's playing, a regenerating gadget of a Sami. So those keeper barriers not going to get its full value in this round. 1 minute 30 bird in the clock. Koi, they have not had an issue with time so far. They start ramping up in that mid stage, and that is going to be in about a few seconds.
Tracer's going through that wall. DZ searching for a single kill to even things out. Panbazoo tries to find it. Leonkin says no. Now it's Skies softened up. Smoke needs to survive. Still one toxic canister left. Skies has been using these canisters very early on, and maybe for good reason, because he's not able to use the last one thanks to Kanto Raketti. Spoit and the rest of Koi leading the charge. Kanto's caught up to him, but there's still 5 players from Koi searching for these final 2 kills. DZ forced out of the bomb site right now. They've completely ceded that part of the map and will either need to play below or for a retake, given how lopsided this round is for Koi.
And he's gonna leave NJR alone on side, just stalling for time. If the time gets low enough, Canadian can stop the defuse. That could be a win condition for DarkZero in a 5 versus 2.
Hold on a second. NJR's actually in the bomb site. He's prone again. Meepy was right once again. Oh, Spoit doesn't see him. He overlooks some, but he peeks over. NJR falls. Canadian, a brisk pace to get back to the bomb site. He thought backstairs was the play. I don't know if he had some intel, but might be able to get something from this angle or potentially scare Kanto off. No, Diffuser goes down. Diffuser almost goes down. Cryin gets the final kill. And that's a flawless round, is it, for Koi?
Nice entry. It's gotta fucking happen.
What does, Troy?
Yeah, what's gotta happen? We go from Leon being very happy, like, oh, let's go, good entry. It's gotta bleep happen. It does gotta happen. I mean, something has got to happen with these defensive rounds, because you just spoke about it. The most defender-sided bomb side not going in favor of DC, not just the first time, but they failed the second attempt as well. Barbecue, DC were successful last time they tried their hands at the bomb site, and I do think it adds more movement for the defenders. You can play upstairs, you can go and roam on the east side as well, just like DC did the previous time. Koi, they had to make more work of bigger areas of the map. I think it also just boils down to those opening kills. When Koi can get an uncontested opening, that's really poor for DC. The round conversion, it's there for Koi. Gavin, now 2 rounds in a row, just keeps dying early in the round with no trade. Whereas on Theme Park, it was always contested openings from both teams, always a trade happening. Not the case this time.
Spoit's leading 5th kill. He's been the star of the show so far. 19 kills in the very first map, and now 5 more to add to it. He's looking to catch up to those kill leaders ahead of him. I mean, if DZ wins this map, they're doing him a major favor because Koi's played so few maps so far.
Yeah.
DZ has almost played 2 more full best of 3s than Koi.
That's crazy to think about.
Really insane when you think about it.
Of course, DarkZero played earlier. This is Koi's first and only, I believe, best of 3 today. That means it's a pretty relaxing one for them, possibly. Panbazoo finds Spoit. That's the opening DarkZero needed, uncontested. Anderson, the top gunner of Spoit. Nades off the board. Kento has a second pair, of course. But that's a high-value target. Oh.
I don't think Gavin meant to do that, but that's okay. Opening up the door on drum with the impact tossed out just next to it. Expecting Koi to take up residence inside of Geisha. That's a good shout. Drones are in from Koi, and they'll continue to gain that information. Nobody to play off of it just yet. Finally, Kanto Raketti gets in the building. It looked like he was droning himself in, though.
Yeah.
Problem is that information expires very quickly. After 3-4 seconds, the person you just scouted with that drone might as well be in another map at that point.
Yeah. Koi playing kind of isolated. Gavin with the impact tries to get an angle, but nobody's there. So DC are falling back closer toward that bomb site. but they still got the active roam. They think someone's on that office side of the map, and you'd be right, but they're outside the balcony. Capcan trap goes off. Kento almost dying again, trying to do that vertical duty of the sledge, not having the best time upstairs.
It's a nitro cell that we just heard go off. Could that be it? Would have been Skies. He's the only one. Oh no, it was a Capcan trap actually that we keep hearing. Never mind, it was a nitro cell. I got lied to. That's fine.
Sky C4, yeah, got spent earlier on. Didn't do any. That yellow ping is out. The thing is, there's no angle. Tries to look for it, but Cryan finds the kill instead. Good capture by Koi.
Cryan falters, gets the kill anyway. Deepak drops. DZ have only lost NJR so far. He's a top player on their squad. The rest of the team relatively even, all sitting at 3 apiece except for Skies. It's an even match across the board, actually. Deepak's the only real player who hasn't been able to show his might. Down goes Kanto Raketti to Skies, so now he will join the rest of his team at 3 kills. Cryan doesn't see Skies, but Leon does. Gets the pick, the Capcan trap as well, and now Leon can walk in, but he doesn't see the other trap. It blows up, but he's not the one credited with the kill. DZ gets it either way as the explosion goes off. The Azami, was it Gavin, gets that final pick. And DZ regain the lead with their 3rd round.
Capcan traps. Remember back when, way back, when they had like a red laser attached to it and they were actually visible, but they would one-shot anybody walking into them? Even then, with a red laser, people would still die to them all the time. Now they're invisible, they only do about half your health, but it's one of those, yeah, you can tank one, but now you gotta go out of your way to look at them on every single door. And that's also why that barbecue kitchen bomb set is so strong, because you're playing above, and you're playing below, and you're playing across. We saw it at the last moments of that previous round. Canadian was still on the east side and office, holding down that area as well. Full map control for DC. The only thing Kari they had, that was a geisha area, and then to drop on down to attack the bomb site itself.
I got my very first ace ever on Skyscraper, actually, and the first day I ever played Rainbow Six. It was on Hostage, in fact, yeah.
Wait, you got an ace the first time you played Siege ever, or the first time you played Skyscraper?
So it was the first day I'd ever played. It was probably my 3rd or 4th map, I would say, of ever playing the game. I was playing Capcan. It was on Skyscraper. Somebody grabbed the hostage. I got 4 kills, and I jumped out the window and killed the last player while they had the hostage, and we're trying to get to the extraction zone. So, yep, that will definitely date me. It would have been back in, I think the first day that I ever played Rainbow Six was January 4th, 2017. So we are 6 years past. I mean, to be fair, that was during Red Crow, so I'm actually behind most of the people who play this game, but I feel like a late adopter because it was right before the first Invitational and right before Velvet Shell completely flipped the game around with Mira coming in.
Why January 4th? That's so specific. Why do you remember?
Because I looked it up once because it was when I activated my Uplay account.
Oh, okay.
So it was very easy for me to find it. I was like, I wonder what day it was because my anniversary of playing Rainbow Six. Either way, it's not about me, but I just think it's a nice, it's a little interesting tidbit. So seeing Capcan on Skyscraper is
hits close to home, yeah.
Warms my heart. Even though it was a very different map back then, and I would argue not as good as it is now.
No.
I think the map is significantly better.
Yeah, no, the rework was certainly a great addition to the game. Koi would agree. They love playing the map, and what they don't love is Kento almost getting wall banged, thinking he's safe inside a open room, but these soft walls, they can betray you.
They say they love this map, but they've only played it once so far during the 6 Invitational, 7-5 victory over W7.
It's often banned against them. They don't get to play it.
I mean, even Leon said that. Why did you leave Skyscraper unbanned?
Exactly.
And I mean, DZ beat Secret 8-6, but Secret, a team that is currently on a plane ride home, is not the same as the major champions that are Koi, so...
Yeah. I mean, Koi even beat BDS domestically in EUL. They've got great experience on this map, and they're showing it so far. 2 attacking rounds, looking for a 3rd.
And this is that bomb site again that has the distinction of being the most defender favored in the game. DZ are 0-2 on defense on it. That's dreadfully bad for a bomb site that you might as well be able to win with your eyes closed. But again, if DZ are not as comfortable on this map, and Koi are indeed one of the best teams in the world on Skyscraper, then I guess it stands to reason. So, 3rd crack at this bomb site, 45 seconds left, and Koi have got themselves bogged down over by Drum. There's an endless amount of Kiva barriers keeping them at bay, and another will populate in front of their eyes. Canadian gets away, but it's out on Geisha balcony for Deepak to secure the kill. Spoit with some caliber-based destruction, trying to get into Geisha. Leon Gids trading a bit of HP. Gavin is now down for the count. DZ have suffered 2 casualties. They get on the board, though, with Panbazoo taking care of Cryan, and the rest of DZ look to take care of business. The final 15 seconds. Again, DZ on the ground. Will they get these picks? Panbazoo, kill number 2. That's ended by Leon Gids. Spoit walks in, Skies to clutch, but Deepak says no! First half, tied, 3-3.
Guess what? Guess what?
Oh, he's gonna say it.
In the corner again.
Yeah, same corner actually. That's where Inja was last time. Oh my god. Just like throwback to Meeby's timeout on Theme Park, and he made the comment like they're always prone on the floor in the last like 50 seconds of the round. So aim crouch level and go for that flick if you're comfortable with it. And that is really struck true. So many rounds later, it happens time and time again. 3-3 split. Statistically, you'd expect a 4-2 in favor of the defending team, but a 3-3 for DarkZero, depending on how good they are on their attack versus their defense, might not be the worst case scenario for them. If you can execute the rounds accurately and find openings and get those kills, DarkZero, I mean, they could take it flawlessly if they wanted to. The only downside is, Koi, they are so comfortable and experienced in playing Skyscraper in EUL. Everyone bends it against them. Here at the 6 Invitationals, most teams have bended against them. They can now show if that should be a trend that should continue, or DC perhaps can break it for them.
Yeah. Wisely pointed out. It's an excellent bit of an addition to this broadcast. Let's take a look at those first bloods and how the round shook out. Koi got Diffuser down in round number 1 as the teams traded for the first blood. T and Karaoke, the most played bomb site. It's the most played bomb site on Skyscraper, but it was the most played in that first half. It wasn't won by DZ on defense a single time, despite the fact that it has a 73% of its rounds won by the defenders. Barbecue was played twice. Office was played once. Nice kill by Deepak, and he'll go for the reinforcement. He gets it up in time. Skies is as good as gone, and the Monty that we saw on Theme Park that wasn't, I think, as important as it could have been, will now have no impact whatsoever on the very first attack for DarkZero.
And that's actually a very big deal because the Monty is the operator DC built this entire roster around. There's no Ying, there's no Glass, no execution operators. It was going to be Monty going in, leading the charge, helping get down a plant, get the map control, you know, pressure the bomb set itself. And now it's gone. DC will now have to put this round together in a scrappy way. But okay, what's plan B? The good news is you have Canadian, one of the most, if not the most successful and experienced IGL in the entire game. If anybody could pick this back together, it would be him.
Both these teams looking to avoid a lower bracket run. DarkZero, obviously the team on the ropes, playing on Koi's map. That first half being a draw. Koi now going to the favorable side on a map that they know and love. That's when you start to sound the alarms for DarkZero, and I'm sure the fans probably have that in the back of their mind as well.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. They got the Doctor on speed dial. DC, they got to take them all the way to the third map now. They're looking for the opening. Backstairs. And door entry point for DarkZero, looking to strike on that B bomb side. It's been reinforced off. Gonna need NGR to rotate over. Right now, Gavin and NGR, they're working that Geisha side at the same time to take down Deepak, who's going to just sitting tight. He's holding an angle of his own. He doesn't have to move from the spot.
Contesting from above, Deepak still has all the stim pistols, but unable to use it as there's more than one player from DZ searching for that kill. It's Panbazoo to secure. 30 seconds left. DZ need to hurry, but their entire strategy defanged by losing the Monty early on. Confronting those Kiba barriers will be priority number 1. Gavin gets a kill, traded back. Koi winning on most of these duels. Cryan drops, Panbazoo does his damnedest, and NJR will stand alone. He's the last one from DZ. Inside a Geisha, underwatch from a bulletproof cam. This is a tough spot for him to be in. Jiggle peeking around the door frame out of Geisha, and they do their best DZ impression as it's Spoit on the ground, playing in the dirt. Koi takes the lead.
I didn't get to get on the...
The Monty falling early really is just... That is tough. And again, who expects the Geisha wall to be open like that? No one is going to check for it. It's a very smart play by Koi. That over-aggression really paying off. Pamazoo with a very nice flick. Could have been a difference maker in that round, but no. Sport gets that kill again, winning his ones. Koi takes the one-round lead. Has to swap the bomb site, go to office instead. Look at the operator lineup. It's very aggressive from Koi. Every single operator can just fight it out. Alibi, Doc, Ella, Mute, Valkyrie. It's all set and forget the gadgets besides the Doc stims, which is that you want to take active gunfights, then heal yourself or your teammates up. This is a fight for everything lineup from Koi.
We've already got results in from the first 2 upper bracket quarterfinals. Spoilers inbound for about the next 20 to 30 seconds or longer. We're at the point now where we just simply cannot avoid spoilers because we have to talk about these matches. OXG and Wolves are the first matchup to be confirmed for the main stage, if I see correctly here.
Okay.
They are guaranteed to play on it. Am I correct? No, I'm not. No. They will play on February 15th, which is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Interesting enough. But they are guaranteed because they would be in the lower bracket quarter.
Yes. So that guarantees to go further. Yeah.
Either way, the winner of this matchup will play on the main stage at some point. It might just be a single match, but they still get there either way. The lower bracket is just an unbelievable group of teams at the moment. You've got G2 down there, you've got Sonics down there, you've got BDS down there, you've got M&M down there. Well, the loser of this matchup plays the winner of G2 phase.
Oh, okay.
The winner of this matchup plays the winner of M80 W7M. There really isn't a weak opponent in that mix.
No.
Maybe FaZe if they somehow beat G2, but then play like they've played through most of this tournament. It's possible, because FaZe has been quite inconsistent. Pamazoo's grenade hits Kanto Raketti. Talk about consistency issues. It's something that Kanto struggled with for a lot of EUL. And well, on this map, he's sitting on a 4 and 6 on that close range Ella. Close range to the grenade, that's for sure.
Too close indeed. DC got both the single and double wall opened up, so bomb site under pressure now. And this is kind of where Koi's operator lineup, it gets, you know, the weakness is shown. They don't have no toxic babes. They have no real gadgetry they can spend. Just 2 C4s. It's all guns blazing for them. They gotta fight it out. In DC, they got the man advantage. It's slow for them again.
Absolutely.
DC always fighting down the clock.
I mean, if you're going up against a team that knows the map inside and out, you need to be especially good at how you want to tackle it. The entire structure of that previous round, as you pointed out, was based off of the Monty.
Yeah.
Monty dies. How do you pivot and recover? On a map you're familiar with, probably a little bit easier than a map that you're not the most familiar with, and more importantly, your opponent knows very, very well. Second kill for Pamazoo picked up as he beheads Leon Kids. Koi gets on the board with a kill from Spoit, who has been utterly phenomenal. 29 kills over these 2 maps so far for him. Deepak takes out Pamazoo and then flicks on over to NJR. DarkZero keeps getting themselves into favorable positions, but Koi are able to bail themselves out of trouble time and time again. Gavin and Canadian to work shoulder to shoulder. Spoit a second kill. Cryin goes down to Gavin, who looks for more onto Deepak and does it. Suddenly, he's found himself into a 1v1 with Spoit.
10 seconds left.
A position that very few people want to be in. Gavin will have all the confidence in the world, but it's just hubris as Spoit gets his 3rd kill in the round and Koi's lead grows.
One thing that we rarely see from Koi is Deepak playing these flex and aggressive frontline operators. He plays the Echo, he's on drones, he plays far back in bombs with a shotgun typically, but now he is fully unleashed on the dog. And look at that, the 1 into the 2nd, almost gets a 3rd even. Beautiful stuff, and it just gives Koi that extra piece of leverage. It's now 5 members just fully fighting back instead of 4 plus a supportive cast. 5 rounds for Koi, 3 for DarkZero. Things are looking tough. DC, I think they need execution-enabling operators, because in that previous round, you're walking a breach, you're walking a door, taking just straight-up gunfights. There was no Monty. NGR on the thermite had flashbangs instead of smokes, could not cut any of the lines of sight that could have helped them get in. Canadian right now hovering the Ying. I like this change if he sticks it. The Candelas and the smokes or secondary hop reach just gives you another tool to hit the bomb site, just like look back on Theme Park. When it's counter-rotated in the Ying, you toss in one Candela, take that room, toss in a second, take that room, get a kill here and there, and get something else you can leverage to get in. But the aggression from Koi, another wall that's supposed to be reinforced, is soft, looking for a spawn peek.
Cryan's not going to get it.
No. Not going to get the wall either. Just leaves it. They have 5 spare reinforcements, by the way. I'll make that 4.
Late setup.
Yeah.
Canadian did stick the Ying, by the way, if you can't see the screen. Boy, what a position for Gavin to be in that previous round. To go from relative obscurity, competing in the lower levels, the lower tiers of this game, to now in a 1v1 heads-up duel against Spoit, a position that, well, seems to me would be quite miserable. Oh, it's a run out from Leon Gids, but he's only out for a second. I think he expected them to still be on drone, but both players from DZ were upright, guns in hand.
Yeah.
And Leon Gids gets in the bin.
I mean, we spoke about how Solus gives you so much information you can act upon, or your teammates can act upon. Leon Gids might have gotten too excited and baited himself into an unfavorable position, thinking, it's 2 freebies, I'm gonna go for this one. Very aggressive outside the building, gets shut down. Thing is, as long as Spoit's alive, 12 and 3, that's pretty much all Koi needs. DZ guys to play together now. They got the guns, they got the advantages, they have the Ying operator for late stage execute. It's by a matter of getting to the bomb site safely now. You can leverage time for map control. Might be a good nade.
You see the legs as well, but Spoit gets out of there. Life still intact for Spoit. So often the win condition of Koi through this matchup. 19 kills in map number 1 and 12 kills so far here in map number 2, with time still to go to add to that tally. On Oryx, he'll be hyper mobile. Not just able to get across the ground fast, but can also hop up and maybe retake. This is a kitchen and barbecue take for DZ. Candelas go off, Cryan flashed out inside a bar. Pambazoo not too far off of that, but I don't think he sees him. Now Cryan's inside of the bomb site, Pambazoo hunted down. Deepak on back stairs, he gets back to the bomb site. Spoit his first kill of the round on the Canadian. DZ will not be in a favorable position if they cannot win this round. Koi will move to series point. I think he can taste it. Only 30 seconds to go. NJR being tempted. Will he win that duel? Softening up Spoit. Kanto Raketti comes in for the assist. Gavin to watch Skies, but he falls to Deepak. A second kill for Deepak. As Skies gets the diffuser down, but no! Kanto Raketti says that's enough of that. Series point for Koi, as they have no problem hopping on and disabling the diffuser.
Koi so close to 2-0ing DarkZero, starting on one of their favorite maps of Theme Park, going on to Koi's own favorite map of Skyscraper. I mean, that's gotta be a timeout, right?
Absolutely.
Gotta be DC slamming the brakes, talking things through. Things are not working for them.
What's going on in that other match over there?
They're taking over the tactics timeout.
Yeah, it's...
It's just little things that are just possible.
One thing I want to say is I really appreciate the composure of Koi. A lot of these EU teams, when they are winning, they're rowdy. Not the case here.
Small things. Just dial it up a little more on it, and I think we're fine. I know we're tired, but there's literally 3 rounds left. Right? 3 rounds. Bring it to fucking overtime. Let's get to the next match.
Do what we can do. Yes.
Yeah, you hear that?
I think it's just not trading. We got the first look like 3 rounds in a row. We're just not trading.
Exhaustion was a question you brought up, Parker, because DC's had a very long day. Min says, I know we're tired. We literally have 3 rounds left. Bring it to overtime. I have bad news for them, though. That means 3rd map. If you're tired now, which is fully understandable, you need to just hit the reserves because you got so much more to go. Bank is not going to be a 7-0 for either team unless you just absolutely surrender. It's a long night for DarkZero.
These teams are quite experienced on Bank as well, providing that we get to that 3rd map, which right now doesn't seem likely, but things can change. DZ's played Bank 3 times so far at SI 2023, a 3-7 loss to FaZe, a 7-5 victory over M80, and a 6-8 loss to Secret. Whereas on Koi's side of the equation, they are 7-2 over SSG and 7-5 over Elevate as their 2 scorelines. Now, granted, SSG have looked statistically like a worse team than DZ, and Elevate aren't here anymore. They were one of the APEC teams that got eliminated. So while those scorelines are impressive for Koi, they're going to be up against a considerably hungrier and more practiced foe. No way, DPEC goes for this. And that could have been the death knell for DarkZero if he pulled it off, but Pambazu is unfazed. He dispatches DPEC with relative ease, losing very little HP in the process.
I bet you Leon Gates made a distinct call saying, guys, if you have an opportunity, go for it. This match point, they're not going to expect the aggression. I'm not going to say Pambazu expected it, but he certainly won the gunfight. Sky stays alive. He's extended on the Monty, not risking anything, because again, this is the same attack we saw last time. If the he's gonna look at the respect he's paying. He's gonna drone out a hard wall, see if the window is prepped before rappelling up as a Monty. That's because of how valuable this operator is to the mission at hand. That is going to be getting into the bomb site, delivering that diffuser, and getting it down. Leon gets on the Oryx. If you find someone or a Monty, like, look at this. Okay, this is not respect. This is fear. Skies is afraid the moment he rappels in, someone's gonna jump out the window. And it's good to have this kind of fear. Because again, the importance of the operator. He's gonna wait for Siemens to get in first. Then they cover him. He gets on in. Pambazu plays flank. It's gonna be a Geisha's side execute for them. Or not. He's going to get the wall first. It is going to be a backstairs attack then.
Double plugs it with Kiba barriers as well, providing bigger shelter for Spoit in this position. You've got your best player on Koi this series in, I don't want to say a rough spot, but for many players, an unwinnable spot with how he's been playing so far in the, what, 25 rounds that we've watched?
Yeah.
Somebody like Spoit is, well, he makes the unwinnable very easily winnable, Nick.
Rotation from DarkZero to the back stairs. Monty's gonna follow along shortly. This is a stable, super classic Monty execute. You walk up the staircase, open up that balcony door, walk into the bomb site, smokes goes out, you stop planting. Cryan is on the bomb site. He's gonna be the one foe that DarkZero have to clear before anything can start happening.
Koi are 4-0 on this bomb site. DZ need to break that or else it's lights out. Canadian, another pick for DZ. They've got 2 so far. Pambazu dropped by Cryan. You talked about him. In the midst of the bomb site. Now very suddenly it's a 3v3 with Spoit getting in on the action. 14 kills. What a performance it's been for him. Win or lose, he has shown up and nobody can say anything otherwise. Gavin securing it down through the soft wall. There's only 10 seconds left. Sky's taking damage onto that Capcan trap, but he's in with the diffuser. It'll be a 2v2. The 2 players from Koi watching as Skies goes for the plant. Cryan sees an exploit, tries to make it work.
He's next to
it. Is in! He gets 2 big picks, and there's only 1 left. He'll hop on the diffuser while watching as Cryan falls. Spoit in a 1v1. Gavin yet again will have to do battle. Plenty of time, but he needs to find the last player of DZ tucked into the corner. There goes the flash. Another one just wasting time. Spoit just needs a single shot on the Gavin. That's it.
He's out.
But he's out of there. He needs to get up to the diffuser. Spoit running the marathon mile. Gavin now going in. Can he get beneath the diffuser with the skeleton key? Both teams in a very tense moment. No time left. Spoit needs to stick it, and Gavin should be able to shut this down, and will do so. DarkZero stays alive in a tense moment between these teams.
Look at Gavin playing it out. He might be a rookie. He might be new to this level of play, but he played the 1 versus 1 with the utmost respect from my side. Stalling for time, flashbangs going out, jumping out the window, forcing Spoit to go back upstairs, only to then use the gadget, the skeleton key, in the 1v1 with 10 seconds left, guaranteeing the round for DarkZero. It looked like Skies was gonna save the round. Well, it wasn't. It was Gavin instead. 6-4 now is still in favor of Koi. And they'll go right back to where they just were. But the one key difference is they know that Monty's going to be a problem. They will have that in mind when they go back to this bomb site and play around it. the Valkyrie cameras, verticality, the C4, the Warden for smokes and for flashbangs. They are the measures put into action by Koi to combat Skies on the Monty. The Monty might not have literally won the round, but it definitely helped. Again, just walking to that bomb site, applying all that pressure, getting down that diffuser. And DC, they discuss for 20 seconds time. And Skies now going to other operators. The floor is being shown, the A is being shown. Despite the success in the previous round, I think DC, they are very understanding of the fact that Koi won't let that happen twice in a row. They're gonna change it up, double heartbeats instead. And Sport, they keep on attending these spawn peaks every single round, not letting DarkZero reach the building quickly. Again, just playing off the fact that DC are slow by default and slowing them down even further. I love 1v1s like that, where it's not just someone walks in, shoots a few bullets, round over. It's decision-making instantly by both teams, making it correctly, a dance back and forth. And it's not even two very experienced players. It's Sport and Gavin, some of the rookies from both teams, making those smart decisions in the moment. I love watching good Siege, and that round was definitely one of those.
I mean, yeah, Spoit might be a quote-unquote rookie, but he's won a major. He's been around
sure
now.
He's played since he was 12, but...
Yeah, at this point, I think it's... I don't know if I would call him a rookie still. I get the point you're making. He is an inexperienced player in comparison to the rest of this roster, especially when you've got players like Kanto, Canadian, and Skies, all of whom have, well, combined a decade plus, almost 2 decades of experience between them, whereas Spoit will just have a single year. This game is being taken over by youngsters. It's been taken over by the 18 and 19-year-olds who are just so mechanically gifted and have the game sense to back it up. Saw Newers do that in the OXG match earlier. And you're seeing Spoit do it here. You've seen NJR do it time and time again from DZ.
Also, one thing all those teams and players have in common is that there's usually one old person, I say old person, one veteran.
Senior citizen.
Senior citizen leading them forward. Koi on match point, a minute to go, and DC, look at them. They're so slow on the clock. They've just entered the first room on the roam clear with a minute left. Capcan traps, we gotta keep an eye out for them because there's not gonna be time to check every single doorway once they start pushing.
Oh, good start for DZ. Yet again, another first blood to go. With the successes that they've been having, 4 rounds in a row that they've been able to get that first pick, they've only accounted for a single round so far. They're hoping that that becomes 2. And DZ, look at this confidence. They've taken everybody but Deepak out from Koi. It was a sluggish start to the round, but they find their footing, and then they hit that ground running. Gavin, he was responsible for the final kill in the previous round. He does it again.
Work these rounds, boys. Work these fucking rounds.
During the timeout, Troy said, all we have to do is, and it seems that they're doing it. They've now pushed Koi to the breaking point. It forces Meepy to call a timeout, and we'll listen.
Boys, you took the words right out of my mouth, okay? Stop giving up these areas so quickly and so soon. Okay. They're doing absolutely everything they can to avoid any gunfights with you people, okay? Yep. All right? They're trying to lurk around, trying to get some drones on you. Like, they have drones on you on site, okay? So we keep that in mind. The drones are placed very late, all right? So if there's nothing happening and you don't feel pressured, look for those drones, okay?
Yes, sir.
Respect your Michael calls. Don't give up areas too soon, okay?
Yeah, they're doing nothing. Like, we can just sit there and waste our time.
Yeah. First 60 seconds, where they fuck up. First 60 seconds, get those picks. Waste some time, then come back. Let's go, boys!
Where do we go? We can go same again, or not?
Do you guys want to go the same again?
Yeah, you can. You lost it twice. Third in a row. So Kate being called out as one change of operator. Crying, of course, going to the Goyo, speaking to that time running down time and time again. And yeah, maybe recognizing that A, DarkZero, they're very slow, so we can hold for ground for longer, burn more time, and B, the late drone setup from DarkZero being very much respected. It's a problem for Koi. They're falling on the bombs because those yellow pings are coming out, but also, I'll give credit to DarkZero, they had so much confidence in that round. That was the most aggressive, straightforward, simplified round we've seen from them, I think, both between this map of Skyscraper and that of the last theme park. It was just good old shootout. Walk on in, take your fights, Gavin, Pampusu, do your thing, go kill. They're sitting on 11 kills apiece. The other 3 members in 6. in DR, Canadian Skies, that is. Of course, on Koi, it's still the sports show. 16 up top. Second follow-up is going to be Deepak and Leon gets an 8 each. Kento on 6, Cryan on 4. The Kaiklo is going to stop the Geisha breach for a little bit, but Canadian, he reads it. On the Thatcher, those EMPs will make quick work of any Kaiklo placed anywhere on the map, as the EMP radius is bigger than that of the claw itself.
Heartbreak for DarkZero fans could come in the form of Koi winning this round. And I say that just because misery seems to follow this team for whatever particular reason, Nick. But the last 2 rounds have given you a lot of confidence. And I'm hoping for overtime yet again.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's getting late in the night. It's all 10 o'clock. We still have an entire map to go. DZ need to win 3 rounds to secure yet another map. And it'll be Bank. Again, a map that's been played by both teams. 3 times by DZ, twice by Koi so far.
Also, speaking about the mental state of DarkZero and how tired they are, that was pointed out by Mint earlier. Both Skyscraper, Theme Park, and Bank, well, I said both, all 3 of those maps, they're very taxing on, I'm gonna say, like, your brain power, right? You gotta problem solve and think about so many small things every single time. It's not linear, simplified maps like, let's say, Clubhouse can be, Oregon can be.
Border.
Yeah, Border. So, honestly, for DarkZero's side, these are very difficult maps to play as your second best of 3 in the day, and you might like them as a team, but due to the circumstance of having to play earlier and going the distance there, that can definitely be the difference maker between how much energy on the last map you have.
This is really going to muck with the stats, Nick, that T in Karaoke, with all of its pick rates sitting at a 73% of all rounds won by the defense.
Yeah.
It's been played 5 times. This is the 6th time we are seeing this bomb site, and it's been won by the defense once.
That is actually a crazy stat to look at. Numbers lie sometimes.
Numbers don't lie. They just get misused by the people who try to fit them into whatever reference that they do. I mean, for us, you can look at it and see that this has been a coin flip map.
Yeah.
First half was 3-3, and if DZ can muster up the same energy that they did on those last 2 rounds, it'll be a 3-3 second half as well. Selma's going off to open up the back wall of Karaoke.
Yeah, it's a late execute though. DarkZero with 30 seconds left, and they lose the opening pick.
That's huge. Koi needed that so desperately. They get another Spoit. Kill number 17. He's really been leading by example. Leon Gids and Deepak are both down. Do DZ know this? Down goes NJR. Leon Gids secured. Can Deepak get back up? Sky's inside of the bomb site. There's a lot of eyes on him. He blows up that canister. Cryan falls. Leon Gids low on HP. Deepak's still bleeding out. Skies goes down. Pambazoo needs to clutch, but Kanto's EDD kills him. Koi survive a scare, and the timeout works. We'll see Koi on the main stage in Place Belle. They face the winner of M80W7M in the upper bracket quarterfinal.
I mean, Koi, they were rogue back in Berlin. They won the major. Things were looking slow. They were not making international events. They're not doing great domestically. They make it to Invite after 6 months by winning that Berlin major. And now, once again, are guaranteed to play in front of a crowd for at least 1 map.
I was wrong. It's not the quarterfinals. It's the semifinals.
Yeah.
That's a deep run for Koi. We're not going to spoil the results for you. So we're not going to tell you who won the M80W7 matchup. We don't even know if it's still ongoing.
Spicy.
But right now, good Lord, can that bottom bracket, that lower bracket, be any more stacked?
No, it is
Heroic.
ridiculous.
Heroic, G2, Sonics, BDS, M&M, and now DarkZero, all in the same place. Might as well be the Royal Rumble down there with all of these teams. And if I continue, if it's not the Royal Rumble, it's definitely Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and it just means that all these games will be very exciting to watch, because sometimes the lower bracket can be all the bottom barrel teams that are like, meh, not a big deal. But these are major winning teams, defending champions, etc. It's going to be very exciting to see who's going to go home day by day, match by match.
I'm going to say something that is quite spicy.
Quite spicy.
And I don't know if you are still watching and if you're going to agree with me, but I think today is the single best day of group stage matches that we have ever seen. Technically, we are in that weird not group stages, starting to get into knockout stages, limbo.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's been a single day of non-live finals Rainbow Six as good as today. Every single matchup was incredible. And I'm ready for more tomorrow. But before we get there, a break, and then the desk is going to want to talk about exactly what you saw on your screen. Sorry to DZ, we'll see you in the lower bracket. Congratulations to Koi. We'll see you in a couple days. Take care of yourselves. Here's a break, and then the desk.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a two-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position. That is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
Koi wins. They're going to the upper bracket semifinal, defeating DarkZero. And super excited about this because we got Leon in the studio to talk about this amazing victory. So happy to have you here. I mean, talk to me about the emotions you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, first map, theme park, we were just kind of shocked at first, but I think going through that and getting into the second map of Skyscraper, we were really happy with that, and we were kind of thrilled that we was able to push that 2-0.
And thrilled overall, I feel like.
Yeah, overall, yeah, very happy. I think the boys, they've done really well today.
And the off day's tomorrow, so now you can relax a little bit.
Relax.
Very good. Leon, I want to know, you guys had to play DarkZero today. You weren't sure, of course, going in if it'd be DarkZero or Sonics. DarkZero have a kind of peculiar, kind of methodical play style. Is there anything that you guys have to change in your game to kind of adapt to that play style, or do you kind of play the same against all teams?
Against DarkZero, like you said, they are quite slow compared to other teams. So generally, we still played the same. We just tried to not go for like spawn peaks or jump outs as much, even though I did a couple times. But besides that, we just tried to be a bit slow, a bit more reserved, because we know they love to take their time. They love to just get everything set up. So we let them come in, and then we take the gunfights.
Now, you did say when we talked earlier, you were probably going to smoke DarkZero harder than Sonics if that was the matchup you were going to have later on. Yeah, it worked out. If the big thing I was curious about, because DZ on attack is such, it can be a slog at different times, and you already had a crazy win rate on defense to come in. Yeah. Is that what you were expecting? Thinking that, was it Sonics? Was that ever on the table, or were you in the back of your head you were kind of thinking, nah, DC could definitely be us later down the road?
Well, we scrimmed DZ last week, I believe, so yeah. We were quite ready for how they were going to play in general. I think there wouldn't have been much difference between them and Sonics either.
It was weird because the other two teams from earlier actually won their other games. So DarkZero coming in was what we were wondering if they were actually going to have 2 games straight and they were going to win both, because Wolves did that. And was that something is there a bit of a buff towards you? If you were to play 2 straight, do you reckon that that's actually a good thing, and then you guys had to come in cold, or were you fresh?
Well, we have been playing quite early in the day, so it was a bit of a shake-up for us to play so late. I think maybe playing a bit earlier would have been helpful, but also the boys and us were quite used to more of a relaxed maps per day.
Right.
So I think actually just playing that one game was more beneficial for us than playing maybe 6 maps at most.
Okay, Leon, last question. Anything you want to say to the fans?
Just thank you all for supporting us. The support we've been getting from all the Spanish fans from Koi has been unreal the last few days. We just want to thank you all, and we'll make sure we'll bring ourselves all the way to the grand final.
Well, Leon, congratulations again, and thank you so much on the fantastic interview. But okay, my analysts, we got a lot to talk about here, so let's dive into map 1. This was a back and forth battle. It was Trade City. Jacob, Koi's a fan of Thatcher.
I mean, yeah, there's not that many teams that still continue to incorporate Thatcher in a modern meta, but I felt like that was such a big catalyst on this one, especially considering when you're talking throne attacks, you're always going to have so many different angles open. It's not just throne, it's so many opposite sites, and I think Cryan is the one who rocks that more often than anybody else. It was also something that when DarkZero noticed it was unbanned, they ran it as well. Canadian was rocking that nearly as much as it felt like Gavini was, I think, at times, but it just overall far more masterful use when it came on Koi and all the different angles you're able to open up on a map as massive as Theme.
And Jesse, you also liked Koi's attack on Throne Room.
Yeah, I mean, for my money, this is probably one of the best bomb sites in the entire map, maybe in the entire game. And still, it was one that Koi really liked to attack. So I've got an example here, a top-down POV of one of the rounds where they're attacking. And they do have man advantage, but keep in mind the janitor wall's closed at this point, right? And the players inside of DarkZero only have limited angles that they have to watch out for these players coming in. And still, DPEG gets the opening pick. They clean up all these players. And then even this final frag where the guy's prone inside the site, loses the gunfight just to the player peeking in. You'll see it on the replay now. Perfectly swings down against the prone player. And this happened a couple of times, 2 separate rounds. They failed to defend on Throne Room and Armory. And so that was kind of a point of contest for me, one that I would have liked to see DarkZero do a little bit better. Thought Koi did an excellent job incorporating those attacks into their game plan. That was the first one. The next one came in with a little bit of a Monty play as well, which also saw Deepak popping off. Yep. So overall, really good pushes on that site from Koi.
And then the one time you sneak the Monty back behind Throne, Leon's the one playing it, giving constant pings from both Maintenance and Bottom Dragon. That's just, that site you can play in only a couple of ways very effectively, but I felt like Koi really had it in the bag today.
All right, let's move on to map 2, Skyscraper. That was Koi's pick.
How did this happen?
Yeah, I was going to say, not a great map for DarkZero, great map for Koi.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Koi certainly took it away in that second half in particular. Their defense is really, really strong. It's a defensive side of team on a defensive side of map, on a map that they really, really like. Yeah, it worked very well for them. A little bit of cap can action to end that as well with, towards the end there. I love the tack timeout coming in from Meepy, and we got to listen into it as we have all tournament long, right? And Meepy kind of slowing them down a little bit, telling them about DarkZero's playstyle, about how DZ love to get those drones in late, right? Like to avoid those fights for the early game so that they can really collapse and take them down in that late game. And it felt like that advice kind of helped out Koi on the final round because they were up 3 rounds on defense. They got the match point. They lost 2 in a row. Then all of a sudden, you know, they took the tack timeout and were able to close it out in regulation 7-5. Very strong map coming in from Koi. Certainly going to be happy to win that on their own map pick.
Yeah, the only problem is that there just aren't that many other maps that you can test out for any length of time and see if they're things that will actually work for you, because Sky's not a DZ map. It simply isn't. If it's your permaban and you think you have something worthwhile on it, then great, but it felt like it was a mistake to take Koi to it. Even if there's a whole bunch of film on Koi from the past year and a half or so, there are some things you probably shouldn't tempt, and that was a little bit too much fate for DarkZero to handle, I feel like.
Okay, so I have a quote from Jacob.
What did I say?
Spoit. Homie's on one. I mean, you gotta respect the spoit.
My out of context room quotes are being used against me now. It's not.
It's summarized very well.
No, it's true, and it was also very true for this game. I wasn't expecting that quote. I'm going to be perfectly honest.
You're like, Jackie, of all the quotes, Jacob, you know, you can talk a lot, and then he's like, you're going to use that one, Jackie? You're going to use that one?
Yeah.
But without a doubt, I mean, an amazing performance. I think all eyes on Spoit.
Is this the build into the MVP graphic? Is that why you've brought it up?
I was trying to do a smooth transition. Thank you for calling it out.
Yeah, you're
Our
welcome.
MVP is... Homie's on one.
Incredibly well deserved.
Homie's on one.
He was the one that I think was really propelling this team to get those defensive wins back on Skyscraper and the second map there, which helped them close things out. Right, round 7, he comes down, frags so hard late with a big 3K. Then round 8, it's a 1v1 against Gaveni, and he managed to take that gunfight as well. It was, I believe, a second clutch over Gaveni and the crew. Had an earlier one on defense on Theme Park against DarkZero as well. That was a 1v2 against Gavin and Canadian, really just putting on a show for DarkZero and, of course, for all of us watching at home.
The reason why I said he was on one, he was on pace if we needed a map 3 to either get close to or break the single biggest amount of kills at one SI series.
Oh, wow.
He was very, very close. He would have been on pace for roughly around 50 because of the average that he got through just those first 2 maps. And if that same thing continued and we saw another DarkZero map go all the way to overtime, then there's a very good shot. If he kept that performance up, then he was on pace to do exactly that. So yeah, in the words of Jackie, in the words of me, homie was on one.
Jacob's annoyed with me. Okay.
Not annoyed. I'm just like...
You're just like Jackie of all the quotes.
Of all the things you could have written down in the green room while we were prepping for this segment, it was that.
Sorry, Jacob. I do want to talk to you all about the future, though. We've been talking a lot about Koi. DarkZero had a pretty interesting day, though, and I thought that this was a hard-fought battle for them, Jesse. How do you think the future looks for them here at SI?
Well, for DarkZero, they fall down to the lower bracket, right? They play, Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong, the winner of G2 FaZe.
You are correct, yes.
That will be an interesting one for DarkZero. I think certainly a winnable one. G2 FaZe, obviously giants of the game historically, but both have been kind of, struggling, especially in the groups for FaZe. Then G2 losing to Wolves first round of playoffs. So, yeah, I think for DarkZero, there's definitely potential for them to continue on down to the lower bracket. They're not out yet, so if you wanted to see DarkZero on the main stage for our final weekend, that is very much still in the picture. But it's going to be tough. G2, I think, have obviously been playing really, really well thus far through the group stage, barring that one loss to Wolves earlier today. And even that was 8-7, 8-7.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to, say that they played too poorly. But yeah, DarkZero, that'll certainly be the challenge coming up.
Yeah.
Jacob, do you think, looking back at this series, there's anything that DarkZero is really going to take away moving forward?
They know above everybody else what their deficiencies are. I think they understand what's up with their attacks. I think they know that that's probably their weakest point. It's not like you really need anybody to spell it out more for them. I think it's a synergy thing. I think it's when I talked to Skies earlier, it was him saying, as long as I perform and if Gav performs to the same level that we did back when we were scrimming, initially figuring things out, back in North America or back in America, then they'll be able to jump back up to where they think they need to be. There's nobody who's more aware than DZ than of exactly what their problems are. So it's not like I even need to say anything here.
I mean, end of the day, like this was not a bad day at all for DarkZero, right? They beat Sonics in the 2-1. They nearly won their map pick. They really should have been able to close out Theme Park, right? I don't think Skyscraper was ever the map that DarkZero were planning on ending this series on or winning, right? I think the goal for DarkZero, as it is for any team in BO3, win your map pick, win the decider, right? Your opponent's map pick should kind of be off the table. Theme Park going all 15 rounds, kind of like, clutching it out on the side of Koi towards the end of the game there. DZ were even up in overtime, right? 7-6.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that one kind of slipped through their fingers. I don't think that's, today was necessarily like, oh, we've got this big problem that we need to fix by tomorrow or whatever. I think it's more just, well, got away from us today, boys.
Yeah.
Okay, and really quickly, future of Koi. Jacob?
Koi made main stage, man. Koi is going to be on the main stage, whether it's in the upper bracket or in the lower bracket. They've secured top 6 alongside Oxygen, alongside Wolves, and based on what we saw from earlier, it might be W7M up there with them, who they would probably then have to face in the upper bracket semifinal in a couple days. It means that they have tomorrow off, so they'd still have plenty of time to prep for whatever opponent they're gonna go up against. It should probably still, I mean, it'll be a majority Brazilian team. They're gonna have to figure it out one way or another, but they're absolutely going to be there when you are there in Plus Bell in just a couple of days.
Yeah, I think looking at the top 4 teams right now in the upper bracket, Oxygen, Wolves, Koi, and then either M80, W7M, there's no argument that Koi are going to be one of the favorite teams of those to take the hammer.
Okay, really quickly, we have W7M versus M80 going on right now, and it's real close. I ain't gonna say what the score is, but it's to the 3rd map. So we're gonna send you on over there, and you definitely want to check it out, so don't go anywhere.